When he said, "I do," he never said what he did. You know, in hindsight, I should have done it in like a cheesy Arnold, and like a cheesy.
You should have.
All right, take two. We're going to go back, take two. This is all staying in, by the way. Not cutting this out. Not cutting this out.
Please.
All right. It hit me as soon as I said it. I was like, you know what? It didn't feel right, and this is an Arnold flick, and we just got to do. Maybe
this is why we do alternate takes. This is, I mean, just we'll roll it.
Yep, they're getting to see how the sausage is made. All right, here we go. Oh, and it should be I, because it's about him, right? Okay, here we go.
It is. Yep, 100%.
Okay. My cartoony Arnold. Here we go. When I said I do, I never said what I did. The bridge is out. We'll get to that in a second. Oh, man, you guys. 1994. James Cameron. Arnold Schwarzenegger. A little bit of trivia we'll talk about later, but I'm going to put it here in the intro. The first film in history, Guinness Book of World Records certified, to whose budget cost over $100 million. And
wow.
The tagline, taking like the most prominent promise, 2 words, "I do," and then turning it into like a great like spy comedy punchline. So great. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Nate Beagle. This is The Poster Says, where we're breaking down cinema's greatest and most memorable, maybe even the worst taglines on the movie posters. Finally giving those little lines their close-up, because somebody had to. Now, my guest today, he describes himself as a Renaissance man, a jack of all trades. He's been a contractor, a software engineer, a real estate director, a private pilot. We'll talk about that. A live cooking show host, and last but certainly not least, a voice actor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to The Poster Says, Mr. Rob Sogomonian.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Where
I'm
did
Rob.
the studio audience, where are... There you are.
You had to prompt it. You had to turn on the sign. That's fine.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, you have to activate the applause now sign. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I am fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me today on The Poster Says. Thanks for
I mean, if we're going to be talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, I can't resist.
I know. I was like, maybe we should do it the whole time, but people will turn off before we even get started.
I think we should do it.
Maybe we'll pepper it in.
Do it very slowly.
Do it doucement. Oh, we'll talk about it. Do it very, very slowly.
Very slowly.
There are, upon the rewatch of this, there are quotes in this movie that I realized, man, I've been quoting this movie since 1994. There's so many moments in this flick. We're going to get into it. We are, your intro there, like you've played roles like Arnold's played all of these kind of roles. I feel like there's a movie where Arnold was a contractor. Isn't he in this movie technically a software? Oh, he's a software salesman. He's a computer
hardware sales
sales.
Because he talks about selling printers or his
It's
wife,
like okay, that's what it is.
She's
it's
like, yeah, he's in printer sales or whatever, and
yeah,
so it's,
I don't know if he's ever done real
Lots of
estate.
parallels.
Was he a real estate guy like in junior? Maybe that was his job.
no, but he was
before
a
got pregnant.
contractor.
He's
He
definitely
was a
played
contractor.
a few things. Is he a pilot in anything? He's got
a pilot
I mean,
in
he
this.
flies stuff in like The Running Man. He's like,
but he's a pilot in this. He flies the Harrier at the end.
oh man, he does fly the Harrier in this.
Yeah.
See, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. I don't know if Arnold's ever been a live cooking show host, but he has told us to put the cookie down.
He has
Now.
told us to put the cookie down.
Put
Put it down now. It's not a tumor.
Yeah, have you been a kindergarten teacher? Have you been a cop or a kindergarten teacher, Rob? Not yet.
So technically, I'm a licensed real estate agent. I still practice real estate, which is a whole thing unto itself. But for a while there, I was coming from a background in software engineering, software development, I got a role as a regional tech director. So basically, what I was doing was I was training real estate agents on how to use the software that our real estate company developed for them. So we had like a CRM for them to use, and it was all custom built. And speaking tech, I'm pretty good at training, and as a real estate agent, as a realtor, I can say that most realtors are kind of like kindergarten students. So, I mean, yes, you could say that I have been a kindergarten.
Technically, I've been both a kindergarten teacher and a cop of sorts.
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Yeah, we could have a whole nother podcast about like all of your experience and all of these other avenues leading up to your like present day passion of voiceover and being in your voice as a voice actor.
And funny thing is, like, I've been an actor since I was in elementary school.
Sure.
So like, first grade or whatever, doing the school play where you don't have any idea what you're doing. You're just on stage having fun.
And doing that, like everyone's got that video of like the kids looking out in the audience and waving to their parents, holding the giant JVC VHS camcorder that's so noisy you can't even hear the show, but it's picking up everything else. But more importantly, it's picking up just the sound of the tape recording.
100%. And I believe that my mom has a video of me doing a piano performance at a talent show at my school in first or second grade. So I'm dressed up like, a barbershop guy, got like the straw hat on and like the little garter on the arm and all that. Just super cute.
Is it called a garter?
I think so.
Because like you said, the garter on the arm. You say garter, that's a little strip of stretchy elastic fabric that goes on the leg. But yeah, is that on the arm actually called like an arm garter?
I'm not a garter. So I have a lot of experience. Clothing and fashion is absolutely not one of my strengths. So I'm going to say yes, but I'm probably wrong because I don't know the difference between a blouse and a shirt
and I'm not going to look it up. We're going to talk about movies here in a minute. But when you say arm garter, we're like, yeah, I know what that is. I know exactly what you're talking about. So for all intents and purposes, it's irregardless. It's an arm garter from now on.
By the way, nice tux. I like it.
Thank you. I wore my this movie, it starts out with him being at a very, very formal event. So yes,
I was actually expecting you to show up in dry suit first and take that off, but
I got notes about that opening scene when I rewatched it recently that we'll get into. But since you just talk about like the Foley in this movie, it was the first thing that jumped out at me as I'm rewatching. I was like, man, they got the Foley cranked up, and it was that when it like.
Yep.
It's like it's juicy when he pops that thing.
It's the thick zipper when they unzip it.
Yeah, but even him like tromping through the snow. It's like, okay, we get it. He's big and he's heavy. Jeepers, Jim Cameron, calm down. But I don't know. It was just something that just really stood out to me on a rewatch.
Where was the first place you saw this movie?
So let's get into it. Let's you're leading me right into this. It's a great 1994. Obviously, the movie we're talking about is the tag. Well, the premise of this podcast, Rob, as you know, I invited you on it and you got to pick like a list of movies. The conversation starter is that tagline. And it was like, I have been fascinated with movie taglines forever, just like, and especially back in the day, long before the interwebs, when movie posters were basically the main ad for the flick. Like you either saw it in the paper or you saw it as coming soon, like the coming attraction on the wall at your local movie theater, right? So you got the poster, and so there's a lot going on in that, whether it's the little line at the top or the bottom or somewhere in there that's kind of either assisting the image that's in there or not at all. It's really a fascinating thing, and I have our poster here today. Here it is.
Yep.
The True Lies poster. Like, so let's.
Absolute classic.
I mean, 1994. Schwarzenegger's at the height of his powers. But actually, technically, this is kind of like a comeback movie for him because right before this, he did Last Action Hero. And Last Action Hero did
Yeah.
not do as well as like a lot of Schwarzenegger films had done up until this point.
Which is sad because it's such a good movie.
It is so fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love it. So 1994, I'm 13 years old. So guess what? Like, this is prime Schwarzenegger. This is prime movie fodder. And this movie, all of the aspects of this movie. I saw this movie in the theater. My dad, even though it is rated R, my dad was one of those, we can have this fun conversation. What was the first R-rated movie you ever saw, Rob?
Terminator.
The first Terminator.
I was
James Cameron.
I love James Cameron. I think he's one of the top filmmakers, one of my favorite filmmakers. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was one of my kind of role models growing up. I loved the fact that my dad was an immigrant too, so I love the fact that Arnie like had biographies and stuff, and so I can kind of like read about kind of how my dad probably approached coming to America and doing his own thing. My dad wasn't a bodybuilder or a famous guy.
Where's your dad from?
But Armenia.
Oh,
so
right on.
Sogomonian, Armenian last name. So my dad met my mom. She's from San Leandro, and they got together, and I was number one. My sister's number two, and we still live here in California in the Bay Area. It's a lovely area. But loved Arnold Schwarzenegger, loved James Cameron. Terminator was the first movie that was R-rated that I saw while visiting relatives in Los Angeles, and they didn't speak English, so we spoke Armenian. And so there was a movie on like HBO or whatever channel it was, and it happened to be Terminator, and I was like 8 years old, and nobody else was home, and so I'm sitting here watching this movie about this like cyborg that's like going on a killing spree trying to find Sarah Connor. And I was like, who is this guy? Number one, holy shit, like badass.
Yeah. He cut this presence even from that movie. Not only him just being, I mean, you can see you were like, this guy was destined to be a massive star, a massive movie 100%. Star. And as you go through his filmography too, you see how he gets better, like he grows. And I want to talk about him. And I think he is tremendous in this movie. His comedic timing in this movie has been honed to like such a great degree. And we'll talk about the balance of the action, like real good action and comedy that's in this movie. This is one of those really great action comedies.
Both of us took notes on the movie and stuff like that. So one of the things that I wrote down, speaking of kind of the action and the comedy playing off of each other, I wrote down that the overall pacing of this movie is almost perfect. Like, there is not a moment wasted. There's not a scene wasted. The entire movie goes together.
There's no fat on this movie at all. It is lean and mean. And it's at 2:20. It's a 2 hour and 20-minute movie. When I started rewatching it today, I was like, holy cow, I don't remember this movie being that long. And there are certain movies that you watch and you're like, woof, 2:20. We could talk about, as a great example, I have not seen it yet, but we're recording this in June, the first week of June in 2026. The new He-Man just came out. Talk about big muscle guys, right?
Right.
The new He-Man movie came out, and that movie is apparently 2:20. And from everything that I've heard about it, they're like, it's too long. It's too long. And like I said,
I think
this
we're both
movie,
the same age. I think you and I are both. I'm 82. You're 81.
I'm 81. Yep.
So I was 12
we're right in the
when
pocket.
this came out.
For sure. And for me, my first R-rated movie at 7 was RoboCop.
Oh, there you go. That's another good
you got
one.
Terminator. We're very, very close. And like both of those movies, pretty brutal R-rated movies for kids. So it's like, just so when you were to your earlier question, like where was I when I saw this? And my dad took me to see this in the theater because by 13, I had seen pretty much everything at that point, right? And let alone starting with RoboCop being my first movie.
Well,
and my dad was a big cinephile. My dad, and there was not this like, oh, you shouldn't see this. And honestly, by the numbers, like we were saying right before we hit record, I forgot this movie was rated R. And there's, when you think back on a lot of the stuff, there's nothing overtly screaming R-rated. I after rewatching it today, I was like, aside from some of the language and stuff like that, and like, literally no nudity. There's an adult, a lewd scene if
Yeah.
lewd-ish that we could talk about.
It's
Don't
not
worry,
even-
we're going to talk about it. I was 13 years old when I saw this movie in the theaters,
It
ladies and
awakened
germs.
something in me too.
Heavens. Oh, yes,
Mhm.
Jamie Lee Curtis is doing the Lord's work for teenage boys in this
Absolutely.
movie. But
Absolutely.
yeah, with other than like some of the language and like even some of the deaths and the it just didn't scream like hard R for me at all. Like I feel like it could pass as a PG-13, but this was post the PG-13, like PG-13 existed.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like almost like Raiders feels more brutal to me than this movie
yeah.
does. Would you agree?
I do agree with you on that. I think that maybe on this one here, it's probably mostly language would be my guess.
Yeah.
On what it is. Maybe the lewd scene, the stripper scene. Even that's not that bad because it doesn't go anywhere. Like
No,
it's
and we'll
not
talk about and how it's again that scene ties into what I was saying earlier about the balance that this movie has between.
But
being...
I do know that the reason, or at least I've heard that the reason that there's never been like a 4K remaster or like like an upscale version of this movie is because it came out right around when a bunch of terrorist stuff was actually happening in the world.
Yes.
And so James Cameron has always been like, I don't really want to go back to it because it's just
they have been, and I applaud the filmmakers of this. Yeah, there's definitely a Arab terrorist, undertone through this. It is the main plot device of this movie, and that, especially in a post 9/11 world, it's a little like, yeah, we don't use that as like the ultimate bad guys. But if you can remove yourself from that kind of, I appreciate that they say that they are like, it's not something that we would necessarily do again today.
I'm just wondering if maybe that played into the rating a little bit as well.
That's a fair point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so
I don't for sure. I think
I don't
absolutely.
sit on the ratings board, so I don't know. But I think it's just a little bit of so many different aspects that just kind of were like, let's make it an R.
Yeah, and and this you're the one that brought this up. I've sent out a list of stuff like this one's actually not even like on the list of like the greatest taglines, and this is why I love already reaching out to other guests and like what movies did you like when I didn't even realize that this was the tagline for this movie. It was just not on my radar in 2026. And I was like, it's so good. It's doing the work that like a good tagline should do. And especially with this poster, like it's just his face. Handsome. He's like at his peak. He's like a peak handsome.
Yep.
Schwarzenegger here. He's not like super ripped at this point anymore, but I mean, he's obviously in like phenomenal shape. And this is like the one movie you don't even really see. He's not shirtless at all. His shirt kind of gets ripped up a little bit.
Yeah,
but you don't see a lot of. You see more Jamie Lee Curtis body than you see of Arnie's body in this one. But when he said "I do," he never said "I did." This is it. It does. And then I kind of also, not until I looked at the poster again, the grenade in between as the space for True Lies is pretty strong. But it sets it up like in a great way of like, what is this about? Right. And it's the tagline that clues into, because ultimately this flick is like this action flick, super spy terrorist thing cloaked in like a romantic comedy, like a troubled marriage happening there.
There is. And it's also one of those situations where like Arnie doesn't, I'm not going to use his name in the movie is Harry, but I'm going to call the actors by their names because it's easier to identify, I think, that way. Arnold is almost on autopilot with his marriage, and they do a really good job of setting that. I don't know if you want to dive into like the movie.
Yeah, we're going to go.
I
want to go over some little trivia bits that I discovered here, and then we'll get into the flick. But cool. But to talk about the premise of that, he's this guy who is like so good at his job, but so bad at his marriage, right? So bad as a husband, super spy, terrible husband.
I love that both the tagline and the title go together, and he never overtly lies in the movie. Fair. It's all like lies of omission, right? It's like, I'm not telling you the whole truth.
Right.
So, I guess
he sits down and because there's the flip side, because then there's this great, and we'll talk about as we talk about like some of the moment, there's this great flip where he catches her in her fabrication at the dinner table, right? Like he's late, he shows up and he starts creating this whole fictional narrative of what he did at this conference. You
Right.
know, and he said the way he starts talking about it, he gets so excited. This is why I love the software business or whatever he says. I just love. He gets all
100%.
jazzed up, you know, because he's riding high from his thing. So that's technically like an overt lie. He's completely just, you know, giving out a full fabrication of this is what I did. This is what I spent the last 3 days doing, honey. And like,
Fair
this
enough.
is why I missed my birthday party, you know, chasing a motorcycle on a horse. We'll talk about all the great scenes in this movie. But yeah, like True Lies, you're like, ooh, you know, what I love already, even about the title too, is this contrast, right? True Lies. You're like, what the fuck does that mean? What's a true lie? You know what I mean? And that's a real, so already it's like a cool, punchy thing. And then when you look at this poster, you're like, all right, it's Arnie with a gun with like some government kind of thing behind him.
Yep.
But then when he said, I do, he never said what he did. And you go like, oh, it's a marriage story. There's going to be a marriage thing in there. So already you're like, I'm intrigued, right? And then, of course, this is James Cameron film. So that's what I want to get into, like the setup of this movie in 1994. And then we'll go through the flick, and then we'll talk about this tagline about. But having rewatched it right out of the gate, I want to say that tagline is such a great tag for this movie that doesn't give anything really away, but sets you up just enough to go, that's great. And that's kind of what this idea of the show was. It's like these flicks that maybe we're super familiar with, and when you see a tag that maybe you didn't even know was written for the flick officially. And some movies have a few. This is the only one that I've found that is documented on any of the promotions for this movie, is when he said I do, he never said what he did. And that's doing what a great tag. That's why I was like, when you drop that in as an option, and I know this was one of your one of your runner ups, and we'll probably get back. I'll have you back on if you're not completely scared away from this episode to talk about some of your favorite ones.
I love talking about movies, and I love hanging out with you. So absolutely, I'm down.
Excellent. But when you picked this one, I was like, oh, that's so good. You know what I mean? This is the thing. It's like when you hear it and you go, yeah, that's a good one. And also, I fucking love this movie too. I love this 100%. Movie. I had not seen it in a while, in a number of years. Like I said, I saw it in the theaters when it came out, and I've seen it many times on home video since. But present time, it's been easily 10 years since I've seen this flick, and rewatching it again today, I was like, I was like one of those, like, man, I have this whole movie memorized. Like, I remember all of these bits, and a lot of these lines live in my own personal zeitgeist. You know what I mean?
100%.
So it does such a great stuff. But I want to go through. So did you know, that one little bit I teased in the intro, that this was officially the first ever over $100 million budget movie?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
so that
me neither, until I started doing the
cool
research for this. And I was like, whoa, that's wild. So let's get into it. This released in July of 94. James Cameron, both written and directed by. It's based on a 1991 French comedy, actually, called...
Oh, I didn't know that either. So
called La Totale. That sounded Italian as I said it, but La Totale. 1991 French comedy by Claude Zidi. Now, James Cameron acquired the rights to it and then basically rewrote the entire thing from scratch.
Nice.
So, which is interesting. And if we're going to talk about that, from a movie production, entertainment, you and I are both, performers, entertainers, and work in the realm of storytelling, and, have our fingers on the pulse of the biz. Of the movie business right now. And it's really interesting. When I read that, I was like, good for James Cameron. One, like, especially rewriting it entirely and making basically an entire new kind of story. But it was, in essence, loosely based on this one particular French comedy film. And he got the rights for it just so he could completely change it, right? Whereas another person would... more often than not, and I think we've seen this, it was like, they were like, oh, no, it was just, people can have the same kind of idea. This is my whole original idea, even if though he was inspired by that. So I applaud James Cameron for like acquiring the rights for it.
Sadly, nowadays, I think what a lot of people would do is they're going to go, Claude, I want a movie that's a lot like True Lies, but slightly different. Please make
Right.
it with Nate Beagle as the main character, Rob Sogomonian as the quirky sidekick, and blah 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 blah. And then they'll get an AI generated piece of garbage and try and make that
It's funny that you said Claude because this movie is based on the 1991 French comedy by Claude
by
Zidi.
Claude Zidi.
Sidi. So yeah, starring of course Arnold Schwarzenegger. The cast in this movie is phenomenal. Arnold
It's on
Schwarzenegger,
point.
Jamie
Whoever
Lee
the casting
Curtis,
director was, oh my god.
Tom Arnold, who we'll talk about it as we kind of go in there. But Tom Arnold, would you say debate? I mean, for me, his best thing that he's ever done,
Yes,
in a film.
Yep.
My second runner-up of hit performance of him in a movie is the guy in the bathroom in Austin Powers. That's right, boy. You give that turd hail. Like, he's great in that little random role in Austin Powers, but like, he's awesome in this. He's really, really great. And there was some pre-internet controversy around Tom Arnold. And his marriage to Roseanne Barr at the time.
Roseanne Barr, yeah.
So he was not well desired, let me say. And apparently James Cameron didn't have any knowledge of the controversy.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I think he's great for this part. Like, and he fought for him. He put him in it. And honestly, love him or hate him, he's great in this role. He's really great as this part.
I honestly can't find any fault with any of the casting in this movie.
No, I 100%
perfect.
agree. And then after Tom Arnold, of course, the late great Bill Paxton.
Yep, Bill Paxton.
Which we'll talk about his scene. Like, arguably steals the movie. I think 100%. Bill Paxton steals the flick more so than Tom Arnold. Tom Arnold's part is really great. Also, Grant Heslov as the other guy in the van, Grant Heslov is also so hilarious in this movie. Oh, Tia Carrere, fresh off of my own crush from Wayne's World.
Yep.
Rewatching her again, I was like, man, where is she?
And Charlton Heston.
Oh, and of course, yes. Then Eliza Dushku, Art Malik, I think plays the Art Malik plays our main villain, and very young Elijah Dushku, 12 years old, and yeah, the late great Chuck Heston as the very over. I wrote it down, and then when I was looking at my research notes, I was like, oh man, he's going full. They go on full Nick Fury with him on this, and that's exactly what they did. They did it on purpose. This wasn't an accident that he is eye patched and a little bit of a flat top and some scratches on his eye. So great. I was like, he's got such a good talk about somebody that even at that age at the time having like that kind of presence on. Again, you watch that like. We were talking about Arnold having presence, like let alone being a big dude, but he's super charismatic. He's super charming. And, you know, when he's in the same room and he's playing supplicant to Chuck Heston as the big boss, and Chuck has this like power, can't even do Chuck Heston. It's like
he's hard.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, some of his lines are so...
Well, one of the things that I wrote down on mine is they put a huge focus... So not only is everything paced like almost perfectly, there's no fat like we were talking about earlier. Everything is just done to a T. Casting is on point. One of the things that I love about this movie is the focus on the supporting cast, the supporting characters.
Yes.
It's not just like there's so much character development in the first mission that he goes on, the kind of like, when he's diving in, you don't just have him doing his mission. You cut over to Tom Arnold and
the guy and Grant Heslov in the van. Yeah,
in the van.
Totally sets up those guys perfectly.
100%.
And you already fall in love with them in the beginning as being his like battle partners, so that when they stay in the movie, because you very easily you could be like, oh, these guys again, but you're like, no. Instead, you're like, oh, those guys are still here. Great, those guys.
You could
are
also
still back.
be the who are these guys? Yeah, right. Like because you don't introduce them enough, you never really develop them, and then all of a sudden they're like coming in to save the day or whatever. You're just like, where did they come from? But they don't just do it with them. I mean, Chuck Heston has a little bit of a cameo role in this, but you also get Elijah Dushku. You do a lot of that family life stuff where, you know, she gets the snow globe. She's totally like, what the hell is this? You know, you get the sense that she's resourceful. You get the sense that she doesn't take shit from people. So when she does steal everything at the end, it's not like, oh yeah, uh-huh. You get the sense, like, they even make a comment that your first time getting shot. I remember my first time getting shot out of a cannon, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
Tom's
like
got great lines. He's got a lot of great
100%.
lines in this. And yeah, no, and that's good. That's James Cameron writing. And you look at any of his other stuff, he's really good about setting up his characters and doing subtle foreshadowing that will completely pay off later on in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Without beating you over the head with it, right? Just set it up really gingerly, and then it seals the deal by the end. Yeah, like even so much so, one of the things that I clocked in the middle of the movie is, they play Jamie Lee Curtis as this like dowdy housewife with, that has this job in a cubicle, and like, they give her the big glasses, and she's got the dress up to her neck with the pearl necklace, like very almost 50s-esque kind of wife presentation, right? And then there's this one scene later on where you see that she's working out, like she's in the house and she's like like sweaty, like hardcore working out, which sets up towards the end when her and Tia Carrere start having fights, when she has to start fighting a little bit later on. Like, it doesn't come out of nowhere where you go, what? How can she be so strong all of a sudden? And then, like I said, very subtly setting up that, like, she works and she comes home and she works out, like, so she takes care of herself. Like, it's just very well done in that regard.
It's masterclass in how to develop characters, build a world, make the situational transitions believable, and not just be like, where did this come from? Like that, and that there was never a point where my suspension of disbelief was broken.
Yes. No, 100%.
Even with like grabbing the horse, like it's just like getting on the horse.
That's the other thing I wanted to talk about with this movie. There's something that was like, this movie is so funny, and it knows exactly what it's doing. It knows that it's playing both sides of the coin. It knows that it is leaning into the absurdity and lets you know that it is, but also at the same time, when the stakes are high and the like intense action is played very, very seriously. Like, it's both sides are played with the equal amount of tact and the equal amount of realism, if you will, the comedy and the action. And that's why they both work so well. It's so
almost
great.
Like real life. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I'm having fun, I'm having fun.
Yes.
And when I'm in a situation
mean, if you don't
where
know about me, don't you know I
know,
love
right?
fun?
I've never met you before, sir. Who are you?
I'm very formal, as you can see.
Exactly. Well, you're wearing the pearls, but I know you work out in your off time. But it's it parallels how I think at least my life works, where when I am in game mode, when I'm like working on something, when I'm focused, everything is very serious to me. And but anybody who meets me in person knows that I'm not very serious when I'm just hanging out with people and like having fun. There's a lot of banter in this movie, a lot of witty banter.
So funny. The witty dialogue, it's another testament to, like, James Cameron's really funny.
Oh,
and
100%.
Like when you go back in some of his other stuff, like Aliens, right? Aliens, his stamp on it. There's so much like funny stuff in that. And in like with the, the grunts, the military grunts being like, there's a lot of fun, bantery dialogue and jokes for the sake of
Bill
jokes.
Paxton movie.
Yeah, Bill Paxton. Don't get me wrong. Like Bill, we'll talk about Bill Paxton.
I love him so much.
But yeah, so like 100, it was first film in history to exceed $100 million production budget. It has since been surpassed by that, as we know.
Yeah.
Not the least of which from James Cameron, and made $378.9 million worldwide. It was the third highest grossing film of 1994. Do you know the other two?
Oh God.
You want to take a guess? That there was a number one and a number two. Number one in 1994.
94.
Highest grossing film.
Gosh.
One is animated and one is a like saga, like a time saga.
You're going to tell me and I'm going to be like, oh, of course.
So the highest grossing film in 94 was The Lion King.
Yep. Okay.
And Forrest Gump. So it came in third behind The Lion King and Forrest Gump, which were two juggernauts in 1994.
Gotcha.
But $378.9 million worldwide in 94, ain't nothing to sneeze at.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? Jamie Lee Curtis, like we said, is tremendous in this movie. I mean, I feel like she had probably been off the Hollywood scene a little bit prior to this because like, Jamie, we could do a whole podcast on Jamie Lee Curtis's career, but like,
Yeah.
Starting out as the, quote unquote scream queen, with Halloween.
With Halloween.
And being the daughter of Tony Curtis and like, coming from this Hollywood royalty family and then really making a name for herself, now an Oscar winner. But the chops that she shows in this movie, she gets to show a little bit of her scream queen stuff. She gets to scream a little bit.
Yep.
I wrote it down when it happens. And then also there was this period of time where she was a little bit of a sex symbol, like in the 80s, like Trading Places. She was, all of a sudden they were like, the girl from Halloween is like super hot. Like, like that came out. And then one of my favorite movies of all time that she is just chef's kiss in is A Fish Called Wanda. And that's
which
like,
I have not seen.
Rob.
Actually. I know.
All right, we got to
one of those
we got to stop the pod and we got to watch Fish Called Wanda.
All right. Tune into our reaction channel, Nate and Rob React.
It might
coming
happen.
soon.
I mean, don't tempt me with a good time. Rob, you were saying, talking about like, when you focus on something you're really passionate about, you were privy to one of my 7.5 hour long workshops that went for 7.5 hours straight. She in A Fish Called Wanda is phenomenal. Yes. We're going to write it down. We're going to watch it together. We should just watch it together and do like a live talk to it. But she's talk about like really showcasing her comedy chops in there. Right. So, but that's like 1988.
Gotcha.
And then I feel like she did a lot of, I didn't do like a deep dive on Jamie Lee Curtis, but I feel like she did a lot of like, there was some action thriller stuff. And then she reached this kind of like sexy thriller kind of like Blue Steel. And things like that, where she has a poster not too dissimilar to our boy here, where she's holding up a gun. You know what I mean? And
I do know what you mean.
Anyways, but she wins the Golden Globe for Best Actress for this movie this year for motion picture or comedy. So the summer 94 other films that came out this year were Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump, The Lion King, Speed. Man,
Speed.
I mean, that's another movie we could probably have fun on.
I love that movie.
I have to look at I default wish, and I hope, I don't think it's true, but I wish it was, because I love me some Speed, is that it was just like Pop Quiz Hot Shot or something like that, right? Like that's the thing, Pop Quiz, right? Pop Quiz Hot Shot's like the big one, the big line that I always think about with Speed. Yeah, so this was what I was teasing before. So this Schwarzenegger's coming off of Last Action Hero, which was a big flop. It was a big budget flick that really flopped at the box office. It's one of those movies that has since gained, fan status. Well, like you said, we were of the same age when that came out, and like I loved it. Talk about like, especially as a 12, 13-year-old in 93, like, are you kidding me? That love movies, like some magical ticket, and I can get thrown into
100%.
the movie, like just. It's still a fun watch. It's kind of bad, but in like a charming, fun kind of way.
I don't know about you, but when I was 13, I mean, I still do it. I would put myself in movies, right? Where I would be like, okay, well, like, how would I do this if I were the actor?
Of course.
Or getting a little off topic, when I was younger, I wanted to be in special effects. And so I built a little balsa wood bridge, and I filled it with gunpowder, and I used model glue to, make the igniter line, lit it. And then I tried filming it to see if I could make a slow motion explosion, because I was I had reworked a Return of the Jedi barge scene in my head to the music of that battle, and like I was, of course, the main character. All of my friends were the supporting cast, and like that's what I did when I was 13. I wanted to be in movies, so
I love
all
it.
of the other stuff that I've done has led
like,
me back to movies.
My trajectory went into puppetry, so I was very much into practical effects, especially practical visual effects and special effects makeup and all the gore and horror stuff. Talking about my first rated R movie being RoboCop, like talk about the great practical stuff and yeah, so good.
So good. So good.
But I love that because we'll touch base on you making up your own little like Jabba scene. We're going to talk about the big climactic scene of the 7 Mile bridge.
Yep. Oh my God.
Here that's down in the Keys, and how they made that. I have some fun little behind the scenes video that we'll play and talk about
too,
it.
So.
So that's great. But yeah, so he's coming.
Also, fun fact.
Yeah, go ahead.
My I can't verify this. I have no way of verifying this, but my 7th grade science teacher,
Mhm.
Mrs. Finko,
Good old Mrs.
uh,
Finko.
has told the class that she was the stunt double for Eliza Dushku up on the crane at the end of the movie.
What?
I can't verify that, but one of our summer trips she actually put together because she knew people in production. We went to Florida and did like a very small group. I think there was like 7 or 8 of us behind the scenes, not just like a backlot tour, but like we were with the production staff at Universal Studios in Florida. We had to get parents to sign permission slips. We had like what do you call it? The people who go and make sure that nobody gets into trouble. Not
Truant?
chauffeurs.
Oh, yeah,
No,
chauffeurs,
no.
yeah.
Not chauffeurs. Chauffeurs are drivers. What are the other ones?
Chaperones.
Chaperones. That's it. We had to have like 2 or 3 chaperones go with us. And we literally did like we were the only people on the back tour lot tour, and it was like a 3-day thing. And then we got to film a commercial in a Hollywood studio for like recycling or something like that. But it was because of the connection she had in the movie industry. And I went and looked at the cast list and her name isn't on it. And I was like, I don't believe you. And she said, yeah, I was using my stage name. And back in the day, she told me what her stage name is. I don't remember what it is. I don't have anywhere way of verifying it, but she was very proud of the fact that she was that stunt lady.
That's awesome. I don't want to take it away from her, and I want to like maybe if
Me
we have
neither.
to look up IMDb. You're like, you
It's
know what? I'm
headcanon for me.
purposely staying off IMDb just in case it's not true.
It's headcanon for me. I choose to believe it.
That's what an awesome like random poll. It's so random that I'm almost like, why wouldn't it be true, right? Like that's a very specific poll.
100%.
That's so cool. This was, like I said, the biggest budget of all time at the time.
Yep.
And spoilers, as they still do, the industry was panicked about it. But James Cameron's argument at the time was outsized budgets produce outsized returns. And he's not wrong for him.
Totally.
Because as you know, speaking from 2026, there have been many of outsized budgets that have shit the proverbial bed.
Absolutely.
I think when was Waterworld? Waterworld was one.
Yeah.
Like I think True Lies. I think
96?
Waterworld is after True Lies. It was
is.
like 95 or 96. So I think Waterworld beat it for the most expensive production at the time. That
Right.
didn't recoup. True Lies did like made its budget back and did very very well.
Yep, 3 times or whatever, right? 350.
Fun little story. So this is the movie that James Cameron follows up Terminator 2 with.
Yes.
Do you know what he had been working on and was planning to do after Terminator 2?
I don't. If I were going to guess, I would say Avatar, because I know that he wanted to do that a while ago and then he couldn't because
this is
technology
before that whole thing started, and all that kind of stemmed off, I want to say, post Titanic. He was probably already thinking about it beforehand, but after T2, James Cameron had wrote a treatment for and was in development for an R-rated Spider-Man movie. He was going to do Spider-Man starring Leonardo DiCaprio as Peter Parker and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Doc Ock.
I could see Schwarzenegger being Doc Ock.
So, I'm kind of here for it. But so, yeah, that was a thing that was in development, and then rights issues became an issue, and that kind of killed the project. But there is a draft and a treatment, you can look it up, of James Cameron's version, and apparently a lot of James Cameron's ideas from his Spider-Man, apparently it was James Cameron's idea prior to the Spider-Man we ended up getting in 2002 with Tobey and Sam Raimi. The organic webs came from Jim Cameron's original draft of Spider-Man, making it of an organic webbing.
Very interesting.
Isn't that pretty cool?
That is really cool.
But yeah, Schwarzenegger is Doc Ock. I mean, I'm kind of...
That'd be sick.
Kind of here for it.
I'm not sure how I feel about Leo as Peter Parker, but...
He would have been the right age. He'd have been young at this point. Like, I mean, this is 90... This is between 90... This is around 92, 93.
Sure, and I think he's only like a couple years older than us. I wasn't a huge fan of Leo DiCaprio when he was younger. When I was younger, obviously, because but probably because he was more attractive than me. But as he's grown as an actor, I love him in everything that I see him in now.
Oh, he's so good.
And so I wouldn't discount him. My initial reaction would be like, but I'm sure he would pull it off. He's just incredible.
He was, I think it would have been because he was the right age for it, right? I mean, even the next Spider-Man that we got that really kicked off a lot of the superhero stuff was the Tobey Spidey.
Yeah, but
Tobey was already a little too old to play that, even though.
But he looks nerdy and he looks out of place.
Oh, it works. Don't get me wrong. I love that for Spider-Man.
That's why I would like the only reason I wouldn't think Leo would be able to pull it off is because he's just too attractive for like a Peter Parker character.
Right. And isn't that the kind of issue that came up with Andrew Garfield playing him later on? They were like, he's too hot. He's too hot to play Peter Parker.
Yep. But he's too hot and not nerdy enough.
Fair.
Right? Like because Tom Holland is also very attractive.
Yes.
But he plays the kind of unsure, like nerdy kid, even though he's not a kid, very well. Yes. So I think it works. I'm sure Leo would be able to get there. I just can't see it in my brain right now. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally.
We're going off topic. I'm sorry.
No, this is what it's all about, man. I love going on these tangents. That's why I like talking about this kind of stuff and see how it kind of hits. So True Lies is the movie that happened instead. After Spider-Man fell through, then this kind of is what came to be. And we're all the better for it, I think.
I'm so glad this came out.
I'm so glad that this
one
movie
of my
exists.
favorite movies.
It's one of those, he was like, it needs the money. The budget needs to be 3 times bigger than what they originally had it after that. They were like barely a half a page in the script. He's like, nah, man, I'm going to need some money for this. We'll go in through, there was a near fatal accident, which I remember was in the hotel horse chase, which we'll talk about the hotel horse chase. Schwarzenegger almost went over a 30-foot drop. During that thing. Yeah. Stuntman apparently grabbed him like seconds before he went over the edge.
Dang.
Do you know what Arnold says was the hardest thing he had to do for this movie? Do you have any guesses? He said there was something that he had to do in this movie that is the hardest thing he's ever had to do. Ever. Harder than bodybuilding, harder than stunts.
And it's a thing. It's not like a scene. I don't have
a thing that he does in this movie a couple times. Learning the tango.
Oh, God. I believe it.
He said it's still the hardest thing he had to do in the entire production is learn the tango. To do the tango in the beginning with Tia Carrere and then bookends at the end.
That does not surprise me at all.
Isn't that pretty funny? Jamie Lee Curtis, the famous scene. No choreographer. She did that all herself. That was all her own kind of improv dancing.
Wow.
And also her own personal underwear that she brought from home.
Well, you got to be comfortable if you're going to do a scene like that.
Yeah, right. The famous another one of these fun little bits of trivia. There's a line in the movie, right? He goes. This is the scene where, and we'll go back and go through everything that happens in this movie. But this is the scene where, when he knows that he's fucked up and he's like trying to make it good with Helen. This is post him missing the birthday. This is after the hotel chase.
Yep.
And he goes to her office. And that's when we learn that she's got some mystery guy that she's talking to, right? And we learn more. We learn that at the same time that Arnold learns it, which is kind of a great reveal, I think, for us in the audience. But after that happens and he comes, there's that great scene. He's just like walking solemnly across the street and like just right into oncoming traffic. Right? And then he's telling Tom Arnold, he's like, Helen, he can't get it out. He's having an affair. And then Tom Arnold goes, oh man, welcome to the club, man. And like gives him this big hug. And then he starts and he's talking about it. He goes, it was wife number 2. He's like, well, I was on wife number 2 and she took the ice cube trays out of the freezer. Right? Remember that line? What sort of a sick takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer? Apparently that was an actual verbatim line from his real divorce from Roseanne at the time. Right after that. That Roseanne apparently, and like, so the line about ice cube trays is verbatim from his real divorce from Roseanne Barr. He told Schwarzenegger on the set, Schwarzenegger told Cameron, and then Cameron put it in the script on the same day. It's like, you're saying
wow.
This. That's pretty funny. That's a memorable line. Like, I always remember that line. Like, who takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer?
That's one of the ones that sticks out to me since '94 when I saw it.
Yeah, and then it was a big hit. So then True Lies 2 had a completed script apparently and a full principal cast, and it sat on limbo for a little bit, and then Cameron officially shelved it, especially post 9/11. He was like, "Yeah, we're done. Terrorism is no longer something to take as lightly as we did in the first one," is his quote. like we kind of said. And I think that was the right choice, honestly.
I agree. I think that this movie stands very well on its own. I like that they kind of set it up at the end to continue the story in our heads,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't. I don't feel like everything needs a sequel.
No.
I'm getting sequeled out.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, we are in this, like I said, and I like keep document this. We're talking this first week of June in 2026. And there's this new revitalization at the box office, and it's a lot of of independent films.
Yep.
Brand new things.
Yep.
Taking the box office by storm and talking about sequels and franchises and all this stuff. Putting Star Wars and Mando and Grogu in its place. Two independent like horror flicks. Like it's like from two 20-something-year-old YouTubers.
We saw Spielberg recently said that like you need to come up with original ideas because like the industry is going to die if people keep rehashing old ideas and keep coming out with sequels and things like that.
Yeah, like you said, it's
originality.
fatigue. Like they talk about superhero fatigue. So it is a very. I mean, I think it's interesting to look to look. That's why I like doing like the deep, like what's happening in '94 and the films that are kind of coming out there, and like a lot of bangers and stuff like that. But all of those, other than like True Lies, is loosely based on something, but like a completely reworked situation. But other than The Lion King being a loose adaptation of Hamlet,
right,
you know what I mean? But like, yeah. We need to stop being afraid of new original things. And I think we're getting a little bit of a glimpse of that. And it's, a lot of it is the powers that be, the people that control the money. And like, studios are not apt to throw a ton of like James Cameron style hundreds of millions of dollars towards a project that they don't feel confident will recoup, right? That's what it's all about. And then with Cameron has shown time and time again that he knows how to do that for sure. And that's 100%. An interesting thing that we could probably talk about towards the end of this is what is the secret sauce that Cameron brings to be able to spend so much money and yet it just he's in the multiple of his films are in the top 10 box office of all time. Like
I definitely have thoughts on that, and I'll save it until we get to that point.
Do you want to? So you took a bunch of notes on this. I took a bunch of notes. So let's talk about the flick. You want to start? You want to go through? Like, tell me some of your things. Kind of just go through the film as you wrote it. Notes on. We could talk about
Nate,
some of the famous scenes, some of the things that stood out.
I don't think we have time to tango, Nate.
No,
I think we need to just cut to the chase.
There's always time to tango, but
that is one of the things I wrote down was we don't have time to tango. I basically start with the character development. Like you get into the movie. The movie
starts with the music. Like it lets you know. I wrote it down. The first starts with this epic action movie. Like we're like, whoa, we're like, it's already like buckle up, buttercups. We're about to get into it.
But then it like fades into this little slow like boom, 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 boom. Like it's and he's underwater and he's just kind of going through, fusing through the gate in the like lake pool that the guy's got in his mansion.
Yeah, they're doing it like already. You're like, all right, it's like James Bondy-esque kind of like spy thriller kind of thing. He's sneaking into some place, and
then he does what I love. He walks into the place like he owns it and like he should be there, which has gotten me into plenty of places in life.
Confidence, baby. Confidence.
It's all it is. It works.
He even gets stopped. Doesn't he get stopped by
a couple times
by a chef, and he goes into
this needs more garlic. What are you making dog food for your dog?
How would you serve this to people?
Yeah. And then he's like just starts walking through the crowded ballroom, and he bumps into like the colonel. He's like, "Oh, it's so great to see you again." He's probably never met this person in his life, but he plants a seed that they're old friends or they know each other from something, and the colonel's like, "What?"
The colonel literally goes, "Who is that guy?
Who's that guy?"
It's just perfect, like some random ADR that you can hear at the end. He's like, "Who was that guy?" Like, aren't you?
It is. It's
are you Colonel from the Bronx? Like, who's that guy?
Who's that guy?
And he's
I love
so
the attention
handsome.
to detail.
He rips off that. I was like Arnold at like peak like handsomeness. Like this is like right at the peak, right? He's aged into his face.
Yep.
Right. He's still got that rugged, and he's just like, I was like, he's a good looking dude, man. He's good looking right there. And then he puts on that suit, that tux.
Yeah.
Looking great.
Functional fitness is what I like to call it, as
Functional
opposed to
fitness.
just being like,
that's
built.
that's our new podcast. Welcome
there
to
you go.
Functional Fitness, guys.
Welcome to Functional Fitness. The whole mansion scene, I think, is genius. Sneaking into the room, coming out of the room, being like, "Where's the bathroom? I was looking for the bathroom," and then they kind of start to like pick up on him. And then the chase scene back down to the road.
Real quick on your bathroom, Lalo, you brought that up, and I wrote it down because it really made me laugh, and it sets up this already there. When he starts talking and he's being a little playful, like, okay, that's clever, it's kind of funny, but the subtitles. Did you catch it in the subtitles when he's like, I have to take I really got to take a leak or take a piss, and it does in parentheses perfect Arabic.
Yep.
I wrote that down. The joke subtitles of perfect Arabic. I was like, okay, that's pretty great. Like, that's like, what am I? Am I in the Naked Gun now? It
Totally.
gave me a little bit of Naked Gun vibes of that for sure.
Or Monty Python, a moose once bit my sister.
Right. Yeah, then now we're out and we're in the chase. He's getting chased.
And even the pacing of the chase is, I feel like it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it's great.
It's not like people just start shooting at him immediately. There's confusion when he sets off his, here's my invitation, click, and there's confusion. There's people trying to figure out what's going on.
And that was
and
like the trailer moment.
It.
I feel like I vividly remember that in the trailer. Like, sure, here's my invitation, click, kaboom.
Yep. Kaboom.
Yeah, so good. He smacks the dogs. I wrote down. I was like,
smacks the dog. The totally rubber dogs that are like not actual,
so blatantly rubber. And then I even wrote down, I appreciate it even after. So you hear this, right? And then it's a shot of them getting up, and they're fine.
Yep.
They're fine,
they're
guys.
fine.
The dogs are fine. He just didn't want to get bit by Dobermans. But I love that. It goes whack.
He did not kill
like,
the dogs.
We're in a cartoon a little bit. Again, it's setting the tone.
Yeah.
This really interesting balance, and I haven't seen really something like that before or since, of that kind of comedic balance where it's not overtly a comedy. Like I said, like that little bit in the perfect Arabic, like, am I in a Zaz? Am I in a Zucker Abrams? Is this Hot Shots Part 2? Or is this The Naked Gun, right? Where they're doing a faux action scene where they play it completely straight, right? It's similar to that, right? They're playing it completely straight, but allowing the absurdity to,
but it's not
also
slapstick.
It's allowed,
right?
correct. It's not, this is not slapstick, but it's allowing the absurdity of the situations to be well acknowledged, and where we're right along with it. It's so good.
And I think that again, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, the cutting to the secondary characters as they are traveling to where they're going to meet him.
Yes.
Right. It's not like he just gets there and they just happen to be there like, oh, what took you so long? Right. Like, it shows them driving through the snow, the
and
ice,
commenting to each other throughout the whole thing, which also establishes like, okay, they've been doing this for a while. Here we go again, that kind of thing. But also like the casual nature that they have when they're talking to each other and he's in his ear. It really sets up the dynamic of them in a great way. It's like perfect. Like right out of the gate, we're only a few minutes into the movie and you're already like, I know these guys, I know what's happening. I'm here for the ride. This is already fun.
And you can, so it's mentioned in the Charlton Heston scene, but you can tell that Arnold and Tom Arnold are both kind of like the closer friends, if you will. Yes. And the computer guy, it's not overt that he's like newer to the team, but he doesn't seem like he's as integrated yet.
Yeah, he does. Chuck Heston says something about like, you're new to Harry's team. He literally says you're new to Harry's team.
Yep. That's later, but even in this intro scene, you get the sense that
so that's the payoff again. You're like, oh yeah, 100%. That tracks. That he's,
and that just goes with like excellent character
because he's way more timid. Grant plays it perfectly, like, and really funny.
100%.
I love the. I even wrote like, there's something so satisfying about early to mid 90s computer technology. Yeah, that was like the height of its era. And we'll talk about how the technology plays in this spy thriller as compared to or opposed / composed to. Like the later on stuff. I'm not even talking about Bond, but I'm talking like, because this is more like gritty, real kind of stuff. It plays it a little bit more real, a la like a Jason Bourne. Like, do you know what I mean? Like when the tech, like if you go to watch the first Bourne Identity in like 2003 and the tech that they're using there compared to like when they did it 10, 15 years later.
Yeah, for Ultimatum, where they're like
huge jump. of
Yeah.
like the things and gadget-y stuff. And but that in Windows, that little Windows 92 pops up, and he's like, and he's the classic doing like, it's so great. It's just such bullshit finger typing that he's just standing right in the middle. And he starts like being that nerd. He's like, that's it, baby. I got my hand up her dress and I am going for it. Like, it's really, you're like, oh, these guys, he's cute. Did the thing after that, and then he gets through and he gets in the guys, he escapes. And he's like, if we'll make our flight. This is the thing that I was like, and I forgot about this. And I wrote it down. I was like, we could still make our flight. It was like, after this whole mission that they fully prepared, they get all these guys, they fly home commercial. Looks like they flew home on Delta. Do they not? Does this?
This is not the Impossible Mission Force.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end, they've got access to Harrier jets and they got helicopters and they've got all that kind of stuff. But it was like, you couldn't. They don't have their own private jet that they fly into.
No, they gotta maintain a low profile.
I just thought that was so funny that it was like we could still make our flight. I was like, what do you mean?
Still make our flight?
Oh, we're flying Delta.
100%. I mean, you could track a private jet. Growing up on James Bond, one of my other realities was I was going to be a spy growing up, and so I know all of these little tricks. And you don't fly.
He says when he's growing up, he may or may not be an actual spy. I'm just saying.
You never know.
Never know.
Voice acting.
We'll never know. As soon as we know, we won't be here anymore.
There's a reason my charisma is so high. No, I'm kidding.
So he gets back, and this is where they set up. This is when we get introduced, like, because we don't know any about his deal, and then there's this great scene where he's like handing him out his like, all right, here's your passport, here's your reservation at the thing that your dining reservation, and all of these things. Here's your gift for your kid.
Yep.
And then, oh, did you forget something? Your wedding ring. And he's like, what a team. You know, it's like, it really sets up. Then he's going back to his quote unquote civilian life.
Right.
And that's
which is just a different act for him.
Yeah. It's like, it's so funny. It's a cover. It's almost like a cover.
Yep.
Right. Except that he's just bad at this one.
He's bad at it. Like I said earlier,
well, he's obviously good at being able to maintain the cover, because they even say he's been doing this for 17 years. I didn't clock how long they've been married. I mean,
15.
They've been married for 15. So he was 2 years into this job when they got married.
Which means they may have been, who knows how long they dated, right? Because they didn't meet and get married, right? So
yeah, they don't go too deep into that. They just. But so he's been able to maintain this cover for 15 years.
Yeah, he may have been a computer printer salesman when he got recruited, so it might not have been a lie.
Yeah, we don't really get like I wonder if there's like a prequel comic or something. There probably is.
I don't know, 94, maybe not.
Young Harry Tasker. I just mean like down the line if somebody has made like
I would
an
love
official
it if there
one.
was.
We'll have to look
That'd
that
be
up
sick.
At some point. But then we get to meet Dana, Helen, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who believes he's a boring computer salesman, and then their daughter Dana, and it sets up pretty quick that like the marriage is kind of stale. She's lonely.
Well, I mentioned this earlier. I love how he's on autopilot.
Yes, autopilot is a great way to describe that. Yeah.
She's on her, she's doing her workout like you were mentioning earlier. She gets off of the exercise bike and she's like, hey, the plumber's got to go do this thing. He's got to dig under the slab. It's going to cost an extra $700. I told him I'd sleep with him, and he said he'd cut a couple $100 off of it. And he's like, that's nice, honey.
He's
and
like, that was good thinking. Good thinking.
100%.
Yeah,
but
no,
good thinking.
You could tell that, and it's a great. That's good. That's actually really solid screenwriting where you can see that she's like, I'm trying to get like a little rise out of you, some sort of nothing. And and he's kind of checked out.
And did you notice that when he gets home, he had just gone through this ordeal with the Swiss Alps, wherever he's at. He gets home, he gets into bed, he's trying to be, sneaky. And it happens again later after the birthday that he misses. He gets into bed and she, flops over on top of him. And I think she squeezes his hand and he winces.
That is after the hotel.
That is the hotel one
where she's sitting at the table because it was his birthday party, and he was like, "Yep, you're gonna be here, right?" And he's like, "Absolutely, you can count on me." And then he's late, and he puts his hand, and she just pats it, and he goes, "Argh!" It's pretty strong.
Such great attention to detail. But they build up the whole relationship between not only him and his family, but his family and Gil, his partner, Tom Arnold's character, because he walks in and like everybody knows him, and it's like a friendly kind of a relationship between everybody.
Yeah, he
Makes
just
that
walks
offhand
in.
comment.
He's just like the.
Yep.
It's like he's like the Kramer. He's like
100%.
He's Kramer to Arnie's Seinfeld, right? Just walks right in, and then it sets up another great foreshadowing, little fun, little bit of tech, which I always loved, especially in '94. And then like when Google Glass came out, that's all I thought about. That was like the little camera in the glasses, and of course there's that like. This is the movie right after that he did with James Cameron, right after Terminator 2. And so that the obligatory shot of him putting on the shades.
Putting the shades on. Yep.
And he's got a long coat on. Well, later on, but that shot of him putting on the shades and kind of smirking. And we're just like, we're here for it. We're just here for
100%. It also sets up Dana as a klepto.
Yep.
Right?
Or like,
she steals all the
somebody
money.
acting out, little rebel. Yeah, she's stealing. Then I guess they play into it in a little bit of like subtle dialogue that she apparently has been doing this for a while. Stealing from Gib for a while. He's like, I thought it was my ex's like husband.
100%.
Like, pinching 50s from me.
Which is a great little bit of foreshadowing that I think a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure most people noticed it, but it's something that I think could go over people's heads if you've only seen the movie once.
Right.
I love the chemistry between all the characters too. That's another thing I wrote down. Everybody
That's what you said. This
seems
cast
to get
is
along.
so good. They chemistry is a great thing, and I mean, as actors, we know like chemistry is extremely important, especially with people in shared scenes. And yeah, everyone just connects and bounces off of each other really, really well in this movie. Like I said, Tom Arnold's great. You would think that Tom Arnold would stick out like a sore thumb next to Arnold, but it's the fun dynamic of a friendly, more affable, more playful friend buddy to the stronger, more, resolute, tough guy.
Well, I think it's hilarious how Tom Arnold is also just kind of like the guy who just keeps talking all the time.
Yes.
He's just what do you call it? Stream of consciousness, the whole like she's probably using it for drugs or maybe she's paying for abortion. And, like he's got this whole like monologue of what he's going through as they're going through the security check at their like
again and like it's so casual. It's like oh, there's another day at the office, and it's such. I love that kind of stuff. I love when a film is not scared to just drop you into a world and trusts you as the audience to keep up. Right.
Okay.
And now they're not doing a lot of heavy lifting, but this is a great example of that, of like, we're seeing The Office for the first time. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And just all of even to the subtle thing of like the hello, good morning, Janice. And it's Janice. I know Janice. And she still puts her hand on a pistol
on a gun
underneath the table.
100%.
Like that's so like. It's classic screen, like show don't tell, right? It's the
100%.
Show don't tell screenwriting, which is gorgeous. And I wrote down, I was like, I felt like there's a lot of little like homages and maybe even Arnie homages that weren't necessarily even James Cameron, like the skeleton thing of them talking and them seeing it gave me a lot Total Recall vibes of going through the thing. I think it's Total Recall, and even the Running Man too. I think they do that, but it's at least with Total Recall. That's
Total Recall. They definitely do it.
But you know what I mean, like just being able to see the skeletons and being able to find the weapons and stuff.
You know
like that.
what? I think it's just Running Man.
Is it just Running Man? I feel like I thought it was Total Recall too, because there's like a dog where he's walking a dog. It might be both, but again, one of the Arnie, one if not both of the Arnie ones, where there is a cool effect of like this new tech that doesn't exist, of like this live X-ray
machine thing
kind of thing. And then the handprint, the eye thing, and then the voice print, and then they have to go through that thing, and they see that they're wearing guns, and Janice is just good morning, Janice, and she's just
good morning, Janice.
Not
gentlemen,
no
please
smile.
Stand over to the side and stick your eyes in the retinal scanners. I loved her. I loved the whole vibe in The Office. Number one, Charleston Heston being Charleston Heston and just commanding that scene.
Yep. You guys really screwed the pooch this time. Like
100%.
Hearing Chuck Heston say screwed the pooch is just worth everything.
Movie magic.
I think.
But then seeing all of the old tech in there too. right? Like you were talking about the technology and like, certain films at the beginning, like Jason Bourne, the first film,
Yeah.
where it's totally old school, and then getting into some of the later films where like they're doing facial ID on, closed circuit TV cameras.
Right.
Which sure, maybe that tech exists or whatever, but it's fun to see it feel a little bit more grounded.
Yeah, and like they talk about wiretaps and stuff like that. Put a tap on her
Yep.
phone and things like that, and you see the big, turntable
Reels, yep.
tape walls. That was like 1960s NASA kind of stuff.
Yep.
Like what's that all about? And then skipping ahead a little bit when he's doing the whole, I'm gonna pretend to be this guy to give Helen a mission, and they're
Yep.
recording the French guy. And
Yep.
he's using a literal tape recorder in it, because I wrote down a thing. It was like, it's so interesting, and there's some, I don't know, I love it. There's some like indelible charm to the fact that it is a like tape that this unseen high budget government agency or off the books government agency is using tape versus like a digital recorder.
Well, you know where the money went in that tape recorder, right?
Where did it go?
Into the speaker.
Oh yeah, the speaker that because that is a pretty strong speaker. I was like,
because
I thought about that
like
too. It's like, where is this? Because he's holding it behind the chair.
Totally. Anyway,
but again, it's also one of those things too. This mid '90s, and you can have these. We've heard these conversations of like talking about Seinfeld or the Friends. Like there's those things was like every problem, right? Every plot device would have been solved if cell phones existed, right? Like
totally.
If you're ever to, the fact that cell phones exist, like remove, and so there's something nice that's not a thing that enters into it, and that helps play into the stakes a little bit more, right? And you think back of like, oh yeah, like you didn't talk to your significant other unless we had to get through to them on a landline somehow, somewhere, some way in order to touch base. And then they set that up too, like they have the whole subterfuge of like when she calls his office, it has to go through this whole little thing. And then, so we know that it's her, and he's, it's very well done for like the current tech that they're using for that.
Oh, 100%.
And it still works. Like I'm watching it in 2026 and going, that's still fun. There's something
totally
like still super fun about that.
And I was a James Bond kid. I don't know if you were like into. I loved spy stuff. The Bourne movies are some of my favorite movies. The books are amazing too, if you haven't read them. This harkens back to all of that kind of old school espionage stuff that I loved back in my early teens.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I was still early teens for this one too. But it's such a slice of time.
Totally.
And this just makes it more fun.
100% agree. 100% agree. Again, it just adds this like fun, tangible factor to it, right?
Yes.
It doesn't seem sci-fi. It doesn't seem science fiction, right? It seems like, oh, this could actually, and rewatching that now, and I think even when you're watching it in 94, you were like, the tech that they're using was like, that was a Windows-esque computer that existed then. Like you could do that. Not the internet was not necessarily like a thing, but computers existed. You know what I mean? And all of it adds to this tactile,
it makes the world feel lived
nature
in.
to it.
It makes it. Yeah,
and we'll
100%.
go into some of the bigger sequences here shortly too, and talk about like how some of those were made with a combination like of effects and practical effects, a lot of practical effects and miniatures and things like that. Which I will eat it up with a spoon. Give it to me now. Give it to me now. I want to eat it all up. It's so delicious.
Get to the miniature chopper.
Yeah, give me all those miniature choppers. Yeah, so and then we see that cool the whole Omega sector, and there was part of me that rewatching it now with like Chuck Heston being there and it's Omega. Do you think that was like a play on like I might be reaching with like Omega Man?
I think it was.
You think? I feel like why not, right? And especially if you're James
so.
Cameron, they're like, let's call it Omega sector.
100%.
Because the Omega Man, another great Chuck Heston flick. So
yes,
good.
Absolutely. We move from the kind of like spy center into the going to Jamie Lee Curtis's office.
Yeah, let's get into it because we're about to meet the guy who steals the show. R.I.P.
Bill Paxton.
The late great Bill Paxton.
Love him. Yes, definitely.
Is
RIP.
there anyone who, as I was watching this, I wrote literally the late great Bill Paxton. I mean, and then leading up to this, like this is where the dynamic of this movie shifts, and it's what I like about what I kind of appreciated what they did, and they kind of play it pretty honestly or earnestly rather. This overt showcase of the double standard, like there's this whole double standard.
100%
through line here now, because all of a sudden now we see him get all like, what? She's having an affair, right? And everybody else is like, and even Tom Arnold says it like, what do you want, dude? She's a flesh and blood woman and you're never there.
And you're never there. 100%.
And so like, you have no right to be losing your shit right now. Right. And so they can, it's a really, and I applaud the movie for being like, kind of like, no, fuck you, dude. Like
100%. Yep.
Yeah, this is, of course this would happen.
And the irony in the fact that the guy that she's cheating on him, or she's emotionally cheating on him with, is that he's like pretending to be a secret agent.
That's what's so fun. Although that's why we'll get into it. I wrote one of my favorite moments, the late great Bill Paxton. I mean, is there anyone before or like better at playing like a lovable douchebag?
No.
I watched him in this movie and I was like, he plays douchebags a lot.
Yes.
And they all are some like even back to the brother in Weird Science where he's kind of the worst, but you love him anyway because he's such a doof. And then same thing as his role in Aliens, like game over, man.
Game over, man.
We just got. I don't know if you've been keeping up with current events, but we just got our asses kicked, pal. Like he's so great in that movie. Like and then this, he is just categorically just like firing on all cylinders, like the 100%. Douchebaggiest of douchebags, and so good. It's so funny, and. I laughed out loud. I had again, this is a movie that I've seen a bazillion times.
Yep.
Especially growing up. And on the rewatch today, I laughed out loud with him more than anything else. But the scene where there's that shot of Arnold looking through the binoculars and the camera zooms in and one of the binocular lenses shatters.
Crack. Yep.
And you're like, okay, this is how you know it. And just when you think the movie's going to get too serious or it's getting too brutal or it's getting too like shit like that.
Yep.
That is a Naked Gun joke. That's a Mel 100%. Brooks joke. That's the camera crashing through a window or the camera hitting Dark Helmet in the face kind of joke. Totally. In this like intense action thriller, you know what I mean? And so what a hilarious joke that I love that James Cameron was just like, yeah, let's do it. That's just so funny. It seemed like on paper that seems like that should not exist in this movie, but it's peppered in with little jokes like that.
100%.
Anyway, I laughed out loud when the binoculars broke.
I love the binoculars breaking. I love it when he's talking to Tom Arnold and he's got the transcript of their phone call from earlier. And he's like, wait, this jumps from page 12 to page 14. Where's page, or 11 to, give me the goddamn page. And he just punches through the window.
And there's just
and Tom Arnold's just like,
okay.
All right, man. It's like,
okay. Just give me the goddamn page.
Give me the goddamn page. It's so good.
It is so good. But yeah, then we find out that Bill Paxton is a used car salesman that is using this, like, I'm a secret agent spy. And he was we skipped over the whole, this is post the hotel horse chase.
Oh my God, we did.
We totally skipped over it. Because he was using that as like, oh, you saw that, you know my work, you saw it in the thing. But yeah, I mean, we could talk about that. I mean, like I said, like this then comedy bit, this comedy romantic, something happening in the relationship bit right after this really awesome, like also but slightly ridiculous car, I don't call it a car chase. It's a motorcycle horse chase scene.
It's a motorcycle horse chase.
And like there's a lot of, as I was watching, it was like there's a lot of like big, like awesome action set pieces in this movie that people like you still kind of remember that are kind of like synonymous with this
scene.
Like that whole hotel taking the cop. And then at the end of that, because I wanted to go back to it because again, it's so good at balancing out. Like the guy gets away and there's a ridiculous jump that he jumps it like Fast and the Furious style, jumps the motorcycle into the pool and across
From one
the
building
way
to the other.
And that's the thing we were talking about where the scene where Arnold almost went over the fall because the horse got spooked apparently and like took off when it wasn't supposed to. But anyway, the horse stops and then he gets off, but it's a cop horse, right? It's a police horse. And then it's that whole there's this whole like a minute of him going like, what's the matter with you? Like, what kind of cop are you anyway?
Totally.
Like, you let the bad guy get away.
You let him get away.
And he's like, no, don't give me that. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Like, he's like chastising the horse. And that's
I mean, it is
so
the horse's
absurd.
fault, to be fair.
It's right, for sure. But it's so absurd, and it's such a great palate cleanser from what could have been a whole thing, which I'm going to back it up even further because I skipped it even more, is that another thing that I think was definitely paid homage in another spy thriller, the bathroom fight scene. The bathroom fight scene that leads up to the whole chase.
Which spy thriller is that an homage to?
Mission Impossible Fallout. It's literally they have a whole set piece with Henry Cavill, like again a big dude fighting a bad dude and like tearing
this came
apart
out before Mission Impossible Fallout, right?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, that movie,
gotcha.
Fallout, like I was like, there's this whole big fight in a bathroom.
I thought you were saying that the bathroom scene in this,
check that, reverse it. Yeah, like where like it was like True Lies did it first kind of thing. And I remember seeing when I watched Fallout, I was like, True Lies did this first. True Lies did it.
100%.
Now, the Fallout bathroom fight scene is great, but the one in True Lies is awesome. And I was like, he rips off like, it's brutal, man. And using the glasses because he knows he's being followed, right? And then he does the whole thing.
Going back to the pacing is just beautiful.
Yeah, man.
The pacing in this whole sequence is beautiful. It's classic. Start with a little bit of a ramp up, get to the climax. Climax being the motorcycle jump, and then bring it back down.
And then palate cleansing with comedy at the end of that, because that whole thing is like that's an intense, like legit action. They're not even playing it for laughs. A little bit when he takes the horse. And then, but it's intense. The intensity doesn't waver from that. And you're still like, oh man, what is happening? And you're along for the ride. And then like, now I'm going to talk to the horse and chastise it. It's so funny. And then we cut to, meeting Bill Paxton. And then there's that whole scene where he goes in to literally take like the car test drive with Bill Paxton. And that's where the douchebaggery just amps up even more. And he's just so funny. And Arnold's so good in this flick. He's so good at playing the comedy of this tough guy, having these moments and having these, like you could just see, and the
fever dreams.
The like where he's talking about the way he's describing. I won't quote it here, but the way he's describing Jamie Lee Curtis's body is lines that I've never forgotten, and I've never heard from them since. I've never heard another
zoom in
character
and
said that, and then he pop, and he and then he just cuts back to him laughing again. So good. And then that kind of leads us into he keeps like he's stalking, wants to see where this goes, and then he's using company assets to spy on his wife, and then they builds up to this like doing an actual sting to actually like catch them into this, which then what are your thoughts on that whole bit of that's where I even wrote that's where we get a little bit of Jamie Lee Curtis as Scream Queen. It also sets up really good, like it does her really good, like you can see that she needed some excitement, but in no way was she like, and they say that later, like she was kind of attracted to him because they're pressing her and in the interrogation later on. But like, because she goes, well, maybe a little, but like she wasn't into it for that. That's what Bill Paxton was doing to try to get a piece. But she just needed some excitement in life. She just needed, and like she was actually more in it for the story, the ruse of her helping out someone to like protect the country or protect, something like she was integral in that, and that was exciting, and she wasn't in it for a sexual thing at all, actually. No. And you see that because like he's like, we have to, I need you to go away with me. I got tickets to this thing, and you have to be my cover wife. And she has this moment, which is great, where she's like, I can't do this.
Yep. As soon as he says it, as soon as he brings it
the
up,
lights go out, and the trailer that he's in, half of it explodes.
It's a full-on Navy SEAL operation.
Full-on Navy SEAL operation, and that's where she has some really great screams in there.
Really great screams, and it sets her up for the future. I love the fact that she fights back with these, trained operatives coming in, cutting out the side of the
she's not just screaming
home.
and running. She's like,
no.
Yeah.
I think it's I guess it's Arnie's character. Arnie's character grabs, she bites him.
Bites his
to
hand.
Get away.
Yep. And she totally kicks her knees Tom Arnold in the balls.
Yep.
And
100%.
that plays the whole thing because he has to scream. He's like, oh,
son of a bitch.
From a aerial shot in the thing. Oh, during the chase, because he's got the other thing, fun little trivia there, because he's got cops. They're like, they're tailing it, right? And then they're like, oh, she's got her head. He goes, got to get down, put your head in my lap, right, in the car. And then he's like, Eagle One or whatever, do you have eyes? And he goes, oh yeah. And the guy that goes, yeah, she's got her head in the guy's lap, all right. Yahoo. Do you know that line? Do you know who that is?
No.
James Cameron.
I've got another trivia for you.
Cameo by James Cameron. Being like, he's got
another one. He's got another one later on.
He does. But I thought that was a fun little bit of trivia.
I didn't know that was James Cameron. It didn't sound like him, but that doesn't.
You can hear it's just him on the headset in the helicopter. James Cameron loves being in a helicopter, whatever he can.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, then he whisks her away and gets an interrogation. And I love the double-sided interrogation. One, it's the one he finds, blah, blah, blah. She's still in love with him. And then it sets up this whole thing of like, all right, we're going to create an adventure for her. We're going to recruit her, blah, 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 blah. Ends it with they're going to have their moment with Bill Paxton.
Right.
It's one of my favorite, just whiny, snivelly douchebag guys.
Would a spy pee himself?
Yeah, he literally pisses himself. Got a little dick. It's pathetic. Like, it's
oh my God.
It's so good. He's so funny. Yeah, would a spy pee himself, huh? Which, of course, pays off later. Again, there's setup and payoff. James Cameron's all about the setup and the payoff.
And he's great at it.
And sometimes it happens when you least expect it. And sometimes it's very clear that he's setting something up to do that. And then after that, he sets her up on this mission, right? And that this leads us to every preteen and teenage boy's favorite part of this movie.
I love that the way that they kind of set up that whole scenario. I love that they don't play into the Boris and Natasha meme. I think that's a really fun little kind of
he goes like, our code name will be Boris and your code name will be, she's like, Natasha? He goes, no, Doris.
Yeah.
Boris
I think
and
that's
Doris.
Hilarious.
Boris and Doris is pretty funny.
It is,
and that pays off again later. Spoilers, when they are the spy family at the end, that they like get the call. It's like Boris and Doris.
Boris and Doris.
Boris and Doris. That's pretty. Still funny. Still funny to say it.
I like that they said it. I like how Tom Arnold earlier in the movie says, he only likes to watch. He doesn't like to do anything with it, which was a condition of her accepting the thing. Was I don't want him to be.
Right, because they're setting up that like she's an escort, like she's gonna go. That's her cover, but she's not gonna have to do anything.
Right, and then that's what undoes the whole situation. Right. Yep. So she would have just planted the bug and done her thing, but because Arnie wanted to say sorry in a romantic way him,
he got all caught up in it. But and again, talk about like another great thing, a way they balance this out, the dance scene. All right, let's talk about the dance scene. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to be weird about it, but it's this, and I think it's really, Jamie Lee Curtis has talked about it a bunch too over the years, but I think it shows a real great character shift of Helen. Right, where she's super timid and super nervous. The dress that she has when she first gets there, like it's like pick something sexy, and that's like the sexiest thing that she has, right? And then she looks at herself, she's like, "This isn't gonna work." And then she like rips off all the nonsense, wets her hair back, and all of a sudden it's like yowza, right?
100%.
And then but like the dance, she's like, it starts out really charming and hilarious, and then you see her get into it, right? And that's such I think it's a really great, again, a show don't tell of like, and they were showing,
They were
like
showing.
a show don't tell of like a character finally letting loose and being able to get what, do what she's, been wanting to do, which is like have a little bit more excitement, feel sexy, you know what I mean? And she starts to feel it and she starts doing some stuff. And then, I remember this vividly. This is why I wanted to talk about it. Not for the obvious reasons of like, it was a formative moment in my prepubescence, but she gets into it and then it starts to balance out. She's being sexy and then it's slightly awkward, right? There's this like, because she's never done something like this before, which I love. That I think that's why they didn't choreograph it. They just let her kind of do it in character.
Do her thing.
I've talked about this with people before about because I saw this in the theaters when she's getting into it and she pulls herself like stripteasy on the pole and she starts licking it and she's doing all this stuff. And then, there's a couple moments. One, he drops the tape recorder after she starts licking the pole. And, the cutaways to him like going, oh my heavens, like him having these reactions. It's really funny, all silent, all to this music that I don't think is actually playing in the world. It's just like, music,
I would imagine not.
It's not diegetic music. It's just we are led to believe it's the music that's playing in her head, right? And we're just along with it. But she does that, and then she's thrashing, and then she slips off the pole and eats it. And
then he gets up like half off the chair.
And then he like puts it. He goes, "Oh my god!" Like, that moment, I remember it vividly to this day. Got the biggest laugh I have heard in a crowded movie theater before or since. Like, and I've been in many, but like that is one of the ones that stands out to me of having the just immediate eruption of laughter of that. And that scene in particular has always reminded me of that moment being in the theater. I mean, we could talk about all day, I'm sure you and I, of like, there's nothing like seeing a movie like this, whether it's a big popcorn movie or just like in a theater. Same thing with comedies. Like, comedies are best served in a crowd. Like, get 100%. That crowd energy. But so, and that plays into the experience of it. But yeah, I will never forget the laughter that just erupted immediately from that moment, because you do not expect it. It comes out of nowhere. It's such a great gag. And I don't know, I didn't find it in my little research, but if that was on purpose or if that was an accident, it plays so like surprisingly that I want to believe that it just kind of happened and they just rolled with it because it's chef's kiss. Well,
I love the fact that like how she gets back up and tries to like play it off as not having been a thing, because it's very similar to what I do anyway. If I mess up when I'm doing a take when I'm acting,
right?
You just kind of reset, get back into whatever you're doing. You shouldn't start apologizing and all of that. And she does exactly that.
Right.
She slips off the pole. Wham! Arnie starts to get up to like, what? Like, and then she just gets back up and just goes right back into it.
I almost feel like it wasn't supposed to happen, because I feel like that felt like, I could be wrong, but it felt like an honest, like, oh shit, is she okay moment? Right. And then he kind of resets because she gets back up and stays in the moment. I want to believe, my heart of hearts, I want to believe that was not supposed to happen, and they just kept it in. And
it's headcanon for me. So
thank goodness they kept it in. It is such a great moment. And again, another reason why this movie is so good at balancing out real serious action or even serious like marital drama kind of stuff with like something hilarious. Like
absolutely,
that. So
absolutely. Great. And it's not funny to them because they're in it. Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the best thing with like the best kind of comedy like that is when the characters are not in on the joke. Like, they're not trying to be funny. That's why the comedy works, because it's happening to them and they're reacting authentically or behaving truthfully under that imaginary circumstance. Thank you, Sanford Meisner. then he's the one, he fucks it up and like goes in and lies on the bed. She says, I thought you only like to watch. Oh, and that's that great moment again with the tape. It's so fun because he's like, now lie on the bed. This is again some French agent that they got to record this because there's this moment before, and he's like, who the hell wrote this shit, Harry? C'est la merde. Like, it's like, this is some shit. And he's out, and I love, it's so French. He's smoking in the booth, recording. Like, do it
Absolutely.
and that's something that I think of constantly. Is like, do it very slowly. Like,
slowly.
Yeah, do it simple. And he goes, take your nylons off. She's like, I'm not wearing any. And he goes, that's good.
That's good.
And he kind of struggles, like, what am I going to do? Oh, fuck it. Well, it'll work. That's good. That's funny. And then, she now lie on the bed and close your eyes. She goes, I thought you like to watch. And he goes, oh, fuck. And he stops and he hits rewind. And of course, in the movies, everyone rewinds and stops at the perfect time. They know exactly what they're doing. You can say that for this movie. And of course, you know who's the king of the stop, rewind, play right where you need to. You know who the king of that is? Kevin McAllister. With the Talk Boy in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. He 100%. Is the ultimate king of the stop, rewind, pause, play, timing. Anyway, I think he goes and does it exactly where, now lie on the bed and close your eyes. Say it again.
The thing that I love about that particular scene is there's also no audio when he's rewinding. I don't think he stops it. I think he just hits the rewind button and then lets go again. And usually, if you're listening to a tape, you're gonna get the as you go backwards, right?
Right.
You don't get any of that. So it's like, because otherwise you'd be hearing the clicks. I mean,
I think I want to say when I just watched it today, I think there is a little, at least for us, you get a little bit of it because it's a tight close up of it behind the chair. Right. So like she's not hearing it, but we kind of hear it a little bit.
Yeah, I'll allow it because the rest of the movie's perfect.
Yeah, but then he gets over there, he does the thing, and he starts making out with her, and she grabs his head and clocks him with the phone, and boom, she like gives him a couple good shots, and then also is kicking him while he's down, and then what I also love about this moment, she's about to run out. And she still goes, well, because before that, we didn't even say, like, she's in the middle of the dance, and she does this, it's another funny moment where she does this full turnaround, bend over, and looks at him through her legs, and he does this, like, looking off to the side, but she had the bug in her bra, and it falls out at some point, and she grabs it, and that's where she puts it in her mouth as her second on her finger, and so it's been in her mouth, which is again great continuity because then she runs out, she's kicking his ass, and then she goes, and she pulls it out like it was like hidden behind a tooth or something, and then she slaps it on another table, and then she comes in, but then what happens, Rob? Because what?
Terrorists come in through the door.
The actual real terrorists come in.
But I love it that there's a beat there, though.
Yeah, there is a beat.
Again, we're going back to the timing, right? So he goes, Helen, I can explain. Yeah, she's like, Harry?
Yes, it's Harry. It's Harry, Helen. Yeah, it's Harry. I can explain
everything.
Then
the terrorists bust in through the door.
And I love that because then they take them both hostage, and he's going, just do what they say, blah, blah. And she's going, leave him alone. I'm the one you want. She thinks they're after her.
Yep.
So funny. This ain't like they're a case of missing mistaken identity kind of playful.
It's genius.
Farce joke. And
they're dragging her out, right? Like they're leading him out because obviously he's 6'2" or whatever and 800 pounds. But she's like, I've got everything under control as they're dragging her out by the heels or whatever. Which I think is just comedy genius, comedy gold. We get into the plane with Tia Carrera, and she starts kind of talking about some of her dealings with Harry, we will say, and trying to kind of figure out who Jamie Lee Curtis is, who Helen is. And
he's playing it off. He's like, let the hooker go. She doesn't, you don't need her. She's just some crazy bitch I met at the bar. Right.
And then,
she's like,
what?
She gets all into, where did I get this? Right.
Yeah,
she's so
100%.
Funny. They get them on her plane, and then they drug them and take them to the island that they're, the big thing, we haven't even talked about this because at this point it's like, kind of like standard textbook, at this time, terrorists have a nuclear device and they're ready to, or they have four, I think they have three or four nukes, I think is what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the plot. We don't need to go into it. We've already kind of mentioned that it doesn't really hold water. It doesn't. That's one of the things that doesn't really stand the test of time in this flick, because they get found out. Harry gets tracked and found out post that hotel chase.
They bust into the room, they drag him out, they put him on the plane, they take him out to the island, and we get into our standard terrorist fare. But I love the fact that, they're like, what is this? Do you know what this is? And Harry, yeah, it's a snow cone maker.
Yeah, it's a water heater.
It's an espresso machine.
It's a snow cone maker. Yeah, that's right. He's like, I know what this is. It's an espresso machine. And he goes, no. It's a snow cone maker.
It's a snow cone maker.
He goes, is it a water heater?
A water heater?
His timing's great. His at this point, he's become a really good actor. Like, honestly, Arnold he's one of those movie stars that came on the scene for one particular reason, right?
Yep.
His look, his image. And then as he was, maintained this status, he became a pretty good actor, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, and really was able to lean into timing. He never lost that accent. I think that would have been the worst thing for his career if he ever had lost that accent.
Agreed.
He got to be more intelligible as it went on, because that was an earlier thing. One of his early movies, Hercules in New York. They
had
famously dubbed him. And you can go back and watch. They have the original him, and it's hard between him and Arnold Stang and Hercules in New York. It's hard to understand what anybody's saying in that movie. But yeah, his ability by this point in his career, I was looking at 94. He's 47. It's 2 years older than me in that movie.
Yep.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is like, or when they filmed that, Jamie Lee Curtis is like 35. She's like 35 years old. But like,
There's
he is
still
at this
time
point
for you, Nate.
What?
You can still make it into a True Lies movie. You've got 2 years.
I know I could. I really need to work out. He knows what he looks like. He knows what he does on camera, right? He's one of those movie stars that's like knows his positioning, knows what he looks like on camera, but also, like I said, within the dialogue, the comedic timing is tremendous. And I feel like he really showed that a couple years prior to that in Kindergarten Cop. Cop, his comedy chops. Again, he plays another, like, back and forth, like this hard-nosed, like, tough, brutal cop that has to like clean up his image and teach these kindergartners, and that's the absurdity plays into that comedy. But his timing with those kids really like is still supremely charming and hilarious in that movie. But you could tell that he's really just locked in and knows exactly all of his strengths and knows how to play into them. And upon this rewatch, I was just like, he's really funny in this movie. He's hilarious, really funny. Especially because then leading right into that, after like especially with the water heater, and then he goes, she threatens to kill her, and he goes into this like monotone-esque, like a la, it gave me images of like the Terminator going Uzi 9mm long slide, just late, just ba 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 ba. It's this. It's a Soviet Murph 6, the other, and he does all this kind of stuff. And she's looking at him like, then he goes, "What can I say? I'm a spy." And then that leads us into the obligatory. And there's a really cool moment in that, and where she clocks him. They do this, James Cameron does this like classic film thing, because spoilers, this was shot on film, guys, in 1994. Wasn't shooting digital yet. I know. That he cut in a single frame of white. There's a white flash when she clocks him, which is an effective, quick little he really got blinded. But then it cuts to the obligatory classic, and it made me think of more contemporary of Ant-Man, the truth serum. Giving somebody...
Before we get there.
I don't want to jump ahead.
She clocks him, right?
Yes.
He gets knocked back a little bit, but he's a big guy, right?
He's a tree trunk of a man. Tree trunk of a software printer salesman.
100%, right? Well, he's got to carry those printers upstairs, and we'll get into that later.
That's how he got buff, for lifting all the printers. That makes
100%.
sense. All of that toner.
When she
We're all
clocks
out
him,
of toner.
Oh, we're all out of tuna. Anyway, she clocks him. He takes a couple steps back, and then he trips over the light wheel and falls on his ass. Like,
yes.
I love that detail. It's not that she, knocked him out herself. It's the fact that he backs up and then very clearly catches the back of his heel on that light, and that's what sends him down.
Mhm.
But it makes the whole scene look more impressive than it is for
Totally.
Jamie Lee Curtis, which I love. I think that's just again, attention to detail. I have it written down all over my notes here. It's just like
Love.
this detail, that detail. It's perfect. Let's get into the
But yeah, like the
truth
obligatory
serum.
truth serum thing, right? Like I said, in Ant-Man, they make fun of it. They're like, there's no such thing as truth serum.
right.
But it's such a fun trope. And like, that's another one where Arnold gets to play his chops a little bit, his comedy chops. And she's like, I chuckled out loud again, even though I knew the lines. And she's like, is it working? And he goes, well, ask me something I normally would lie to. And she goes, are we going to die? He just goes, yep. Which is still funny. Yep. Sure are.
It's so good.
And have you killed anyone? He goes, yeah, but they were all bad.
But they were all bad.
Like, so funny. And then he's starting to get woozy, and then being able to click into the cool thing. It's a trope, but again, it works. It's still nonetheless effective. Where he's like, I'm gonna kill you first. I was thinking, I was like, I'm gonna use you as a human shield. Then I'm gonna kill that guy over there, and then I was thinking about breaking your neck. And
how are you gonna?
I love
do
the
all
doctor
that?
too. The doctor was like giving me like classic, like, is it safe? Like marathon
100%.
man, like super creepy. You know,
They had to do some kind of audio processing on his voice because it's got a weird crackle to it.
I wrote the same thing down. It kind of warbles. It has this like kind of digital warble to it. I noticed that too upon this rewatch. I was either like, get this man a glass of water. He needs a gargle, or he's gargling. Anyway, but yeah, I noticed that too. I thought that was really interesting, which adds to his little creepy, menacing thing. But
Absolutely,
then, he's like,
it does.
And he's like, interesting, right? And like, and how do you plan on doing that? You remember my handcuffs? I picked them. And then he does it.
Good.
And it's like, that's a trope, right? He literally does everything he said he was going to do, and he's still kind of out of it. And then leads us into another great action scene with great explosions. All
small note.
big
I don't know if you noticed this with all the explosions and the big practical effects. Just because they come out of the little shed that they're in for the truth serum scene,
right?
And they're kind of sneaking behind pallets and things like that. And all of the terrorists are over there, and they're like doing their rah rah rah, and then they all start shooting into the air. And then right after that, they all stop shooting into the air. And then the other 3 terrorists notice that everybody in the shed is dead and the 2 American people aren't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they start shooting over at Arnold. They find them, they start shooting. And nobody because we see that they're like maybe 300 feet away from where everybody just was.
Mm-hmm.
None of them react.
Interesting. I didn't pick up on that one.
You know why?
Why?
Because everybody who was not in that group shooting probably heard the shooting, and they're just figuring that everybody out in the field is now doing their own
just kind of their own revelry. Yeah,
100%.
So didn't react to something is happening.
Right. What's going on over there?
That's totally
right?
checks. Yeah, I mean, I buy that. I buy that as a part of playing into the world of consistency. That's a really good note. I didn't pick up on that, but I thought that's excellent. And
then of course the Jamie Lee Curtis getting kind of put in front of somebody as a human shield, and then bang, honey, next time, duck.
Yeah, because no, it's great. I feel like that feels like another trailer moment of some sort.
100%.
But yeah, great escape thing, and then but she gets taken. Jamie Lee gets taken. There's a really great shot. I was like, ooh, this is one of my favorite shots. I think that was in the trailer too. Again, you can tell these movies are like trailer shot, where he died under one of the the final big explosion.
Yep.
And he dives into the water, and he's swimming, and then the flame over the water. That's a great shot. And James Cameron was just like, yeah. And James Cameron loves being in water. We know that.
Yeah, we do. There's also a line that Arnie says when they're kind of up looking down at everybody,
mm-hmm.
and he's kind of translating for Jamie Lee Curtis as they're doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, the holy fire will light up the sky and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, we're cool, we're badasses, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yes.
And I just
he's translating for what she's saying. Yeah, we're cool, we're badasses, blah, 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 blah. I love that. That is a great moment too. It's funny.
Hilarious.
And
then they get into the vans and head off into the sunrise.
Yep, and they're going. This is again, another like iconic action piece, and this goes on for a bit, and that is the 7 Mile Bridge down there in the Keys. And if you drive down there, you can see they shot a lot of this on the old. It's still there, but it's not. You don't actually drive on it anymore, and I think you can kind of see that they're driving on the
decommissioned one.
Yeah, the decommissioned bridge.
Yep.
And this leads to, we were kind of teasing this too. Again, another really cool practical effect. Now we got the Harrier jets, which I thought, and dude, I was like, I thought it was, and then I've got learning that they were real. Like there was something so cool. I had never seen them, at least as a kid, in the movie before, about like these hover jets. I was like, hover jets? And my dad was like, no, there's a real, like, yeah, those are Harrier jets. Those are actual jets. Rob, no joke, the Harrier jet that is in this movie just got retired this week.
This week
that we're recording. No. The week that we're recording 3 days ago. They officially retired the Harrier. I had the article up and then I lost it.
Well, the F-35, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on what side of the coin you're on, does the similar.
Yes, that's what is the F-35B, like you said. Yep. The Harriers are giving way to the F-35B, the vertical takeoff and landing version of the stealth fighter jet. Harriers were not stealth fighters, but yeah, like it was this jet doesn't need a runway, like a vertical takeoff, which is still so cool.
It's awesome.
Still so cool. Now, I don't think in the way that we see this Harrier jet get used in this movie, like could literally possibly happen, like just being right next to a building, you know, like
they do have motion. You can't.
No, I understand that, but I'm like just in like a cityscape without it causing a tremendous amount of actual like other damage. Do you know?
100%.
You know, but like using it in that same, especially, you know, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but in the big when they're in the skyscraper.
Yep.
And it appears out of the window, right? Like it's so cool. Something about, but when you see him actually take off in it, and like they're using actual real Harrier jets, I thought that was the coolest thing as a kid. And then rewatching it here, I was like, that's still badass. There is something badass about a jet being able to literally vertical take off a la a helicopter, and then boom, and then take off, and like watching it actually take off was really cool. So when I looked up the Harrier jets today, it was literally retired this week, 3 days ago. They officially retired it. The United States Marine Corps on Wednesday celebrated the end of service for the AV-8 Harrier, the vertical takeoff and landing jet that's been an icon of marine aviation for 55 years. And a favorite of air show spectators, and once the subject of a controversial Pepsi TV commercial. I remember that, the Super Bowl commercial. Do you remember that?
No.
There was a whole thing, I won't get into it, but there was this whole thing, like you could win, if you got enough Pepsi cans or enough things, you could win the Harrier jet.
That.
You remember that?
Yep, I do remember that.
And then somebody tried to hack the system and try to get Pepsi to give them a Harrier jet, which, but it was like a whole big Super Bowl thing. The Harrier didn't need an airfield. I love this, and then we'll get off the Harrier, but it was just cool because I just discovered it today. Fully loaded, a Harrier carries more firepower than a World War II B-17 Flying Fortress bomber.
Yep, but it can't take off vertically with that much load on it.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, who could?
No, absolutely.
Can't take vertical with that much load. But still so cool.
Badass jets.
Still so badass. And and I don't think, to my memory, I don't think that this is the only movie that I can think of that really featured that jet.
Yeah.
As like not even a plot device, but at least an element that our hero uses. Anyway, so cool. But and I know in the movie talk about the practical effects. So like getting the real Harrier jets for actual shots, flying around the bridges and stuff like that. But then also they made like a scale manipulative model for like when Arnold's in it, and that whole thing. Like just so cool.
Yeah, but, they modified the crane so that it could be a full motion chair, basically.
Then the chase. So he's survived. Spoilers. And then she's going, and they're on the road. And again, this is the other movie too that I think that I'm sure there are other movies that use the big 7-mile bridge to the Keys. This is it for Key West in Florida.
Yeah, I can't think of any, but
that I'm sure it exists, but this is the
Sure.
one that always remains in my memory. And we said it, I quoted it earlier, like, the bridge is out.
The bridge is out.
It's such a good classic. I mean, talk about a lot of classic Arnold lines that still remain, that still like are in the pantheon of Arnold things, other than like get to the chopper, the bridge is out, is like, because he shouts it about 4 times,
100%.
And but that scene is so good. I'm still watching it going, God, it still looks so good. And it's a great combo of, there's no CGI really. I don't think there's any CGI in that one particularly, but there
isn't. It's all miniatures.
It's all the stuff that they shot on the actual bridge, some of the actual old bridge that they were allowed to like destroy and use for stuff, and then cutting in between exquisite miniatures, miniature work. Like, there are some times where you watch a thing with miniatures and you're like, okay, that's a miniature. But then there are ones where you're like, you didn't know until you find out later.
You can barely tell if you think to look at the water.
Yes, for sure. And so I found a cool little video. I'm going to not play with the audio, but we can kind of look at it, talk about it since we're here at this. And
while you're bringing that up, this is also where the other James Cameron cameo is. He's one of the Harrier pilot's voices.
Totally. That totally tracks. I feel like when I heard the helicopter one and I was like, that's James Cameron, I was like, I probably heard him again. But like here, so she's in the limo with Tia Carrere.
Is this before or after the driver?
Well, this will be, because I think we're gonna see the shot of the rescue. So this is after the driver gets popped. Who, by the way, beautiful helmet. Just
oh my gosh.
Just a helmet of hair to beard.
Yep.
Gorgeous. Right.
100%. I'm jealous of that guy's mane.
Yeah, for sure. I'd also noticed, Rob, you are not one to shy away from rocking a beard. I noticed you're a little clean shaven today. Almost didn't recognize you.
I am clean shaven. I'm not a fan. So I grow the beard for looks, for aesthetics.
Nice.
I don't. It's not my preferred.
I wish I could grow a beard like you have. This is just laziness, and it's just laziness.
It's not even that it's itchy. I don't know. I like having a smooth face. So if I can, I shave every day.
Smooth little baby face, man. Anyway, here it. But and then they talk about this like there's
like
the
a
bridge is
10-year-old
out,
boy.
and this shot. This is the shot right here. Oh, come on! What a great stunt! Like,
and all practical.
Yep. And then here's some of the behind the scenes shot of it. This is like a little like other channel that's showing some stuff. And they were going. So this was a remote control. The limo was being remote controlled. Here's
is all miniatures.
This is a miniature, you guys.
Yep.
But like the lighting is perfect, and so the cut back and forth. But that and like there's actual shots of like Arnold really hanging on. She's really hanging out of there.
Yep.
There's other video clips that you can hear of them talking about this too. But like that is still, I watched it today and I still got chills. I was like, that is great. Look
100%.
Look at that real, like doing practice tests and stuff.
Such a classic
great stunt.
Scene.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Like that's all in camera. You know, they're wired up, but like.
I mean, it's movies like this. So back in the day, Discovery Channel had a show called Movie Magic. Did you ever watch that show?
Oh my God, yes, of course.
I have tried my hardest to find, and they did an entire episode on True Lies. I've tried my hardest to sail the. I have not found it. I've done my best to sail the high seas and find this series because it had all kinds of stuff. Independence Day, True Lies, a bunch of other movies, and it talked about
look at the shot of the Harriers. Like that's real Harriers. I think those are painted in.
Yep, they're painted in. They're fake, but this is all miniatures right
miniature
here.
Shot. But like,
and
that transposition, that cut back and forth, like that you sell that sells so
100%.
hard. And even
100%.
this still being miniature still rocks. There's this shot is amazing.
Absolutely.
This is what you would call, like, we say miniature, but it's like what Peter Jackson calls it in Lord of the Rings too. They call it bigatures. Like it's a scale model, but it's huge. Like look at how the size of that. And they built it there in the water.
Yep.
So that's why the lighting is the same.
The same. Yep.
So cool. Like, I love this kind of stuff.
This is what, I mean, this is what got me into wanting to be in movies and
Practical
be in
effects.
performance.
Yeah.
All of it. It's just
the
like,
magic.
this is the
It's
coolest thing.
the magic behind the magic. But look at how good that looks.
And this, you can't do this with CGI.
No. I mean, you can absolutely do this. It's not going to look like this.
It's not. That's what I mean.
Yes.
You can't do this.
Yep. It's just not going to look the same.
It's going to look fake. It's going to look.
You can't beat real. You can't beat practical, done in camera look of it, right? It's the uncanny valley, if you will, what we talk about. Like, and this is the cut to the actual bridge that they were able to destroy. We're seeing the bad guy's van hanging in there, and then there's of course
another
the
comedy
joke.
beat.
Another joke. Yeah, the Pelican lands on the thing.
Yep.
Boom! Look at that explosion, and then just cutting back and forth. That's so great. Like, that's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
That is all real.
Chevrolet step van. Boom. We're commenting. For those of you not watching, we're looking at vans falling and exploding
on the bridge, the 7 mile bridge.
I was thinking about then we got up into the Harrier here, that shot that we were just talking about of it hovering right there by the
and this is also
and there's the crane shot you're talking about. That could be your teacher.
Supposedly my teacher.
Hanging off of the.
I believe her.
I believe her too. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. I believe her. It's a great moment where she's just like, Dad?
Yeah, totally.
My dad is flying a Harrier jet.
But here's the thing. We already know that she will happily get onto a motorcycle. We already know that she is, like, the fact that she stole the key and nobody noticed, she has already established that she's really good at doing that.
Yeah, she's a good little
character
thief.
development is amazing. I love the fact.
Payoff.
Yeah. I love the fact that Faisal, the third member of their little group, gets into, he's got his character growth here where he comes in and he's like an inside guy with a gun and he takes out a handful of terrorists so that they can secure the building.
He has the coolest moment, a great payoff where he's going undercover as the camera.
Yep.
And then he drops it with a piece and pop, takes those
pop,
guys
pop, pop.
out. You're like, whoa. I love that moment.
And even he's surprised. He's like, whoa, which is awesome. I love it. Then, of course, the crane scene. We get the Arnie one-liner at the end. You're fired. And then it just, oh my God, it's
the obligatory
good
Arnie one-liner. He's got a few in there. One of my favorites is when I think it's earlier on when he's putting on the glasses and he's walking in the hotel, and I forget what Tom Arnold says. He does some kind of crack wise. And
you look like Ray Charles.
Yeah, that's right. You look at, and he just goes, blow me.
Yep. Oh my
because
God.
again, talking about Arnold, like it only works with that accent too. Like certain these lines would not hit without Arnold. Like you have to be Arnold to say these lines. Like you just have to. And then he saves the day. He saves Helen.
Yep.
He saves Dana. And
saves
then
Dana.
The crisis is resolved, and then it cuts to, what is it? I guess a year
like
later?
3 years later. It's like a year later.
At least
a year,
because her hair is even longer. You see that. And they're the playful, happy family. They're doing thumb war. He's double thumb warring them. And then the call comes in, Boris and Doris. And then do they go back? Is it the same ballroom? Because then they end up, is it the same ballroom from the beginning? Or is it just like meant to evoke
think it's
the
another
same kind of thing?
I think it's a different one.
Another
it seems like it's more fancy
European party that they're going undercover in. And he's looking around and she goes, oh, no, but there's somebody I'd like to talk to. And who is it?
Yep. It's our favorite Bill Paxton.
Simon. We didn't even say what he calls himself. Simon.
Yep, Simon.
And is
now in deep cover. He's now in deep cover.
He's as a waiter, and he's working the same shtick. And then all of a sudden he sees them, and then the fun little...
He doesn't see them. He doesn't see them because she sneaks up on him, remember?
Oh, that's right. And he turns around and sees her and then him. And then she puts her lipstick underneath him. I'm just going to do him right here, honey.
Yep.
He's like, sure, go ahead, whatever, do it. And
then we hear a sound effect.
And then He
Someone is
pees his
peeing
pants
himself.
again. That's another, and he leaves. But still funny. It's fun. I wasn't mad at it. It's cheesy. It's a cheesy, silly cheese ending of it. But again, I'm like, whatever. I got to see Bill Paxton again. It's fun.
And then the tango starts.
And then they do the tango. It's the
And
same
then they
exact
do the
song.
tango.
And then that's how and credits roll while they're still tangoing and stuff like that.
Yep. And then you made it to the end of the credits, right?
No, I stopped. What is there a post credit?
It cuts to Tom Arnold in the van.
Tom Arnold still in the van, right? And he's like, you know what? Next time you're going to be in the van.
100%.
That's right.
exactly
I do remember
right.
that. I didn't see it again this rewatch, but I do remember that being a thing.
It's so good.
It's
like a mid-credit scene, I think. But
it's a fun flick. It really is. It's just still fun. And I was like, a lot of there's some parts of it, but that. Content-wise, that might not necessarily hold up, but we can have that conversation with almost any movie in the 90s
100%.
And 80s and stuff like that. But all in all, as far as like you said, there's not an ounce of fat in this movie. The pacing is always good. It is nonstop entertaining. And even back to what I was saying at the beginning, it does not feel like a 2 hour and 20-minute movie. This movie, no. I compared to what I've been hearing about He-Man, which in theory should also be like a fast-paced, fantastical, all kinds of stuff happening, but apparently it's like the middle section is tough, and it's a little long. But this one, it works, man. It really works.
I've seen some of the trailers for He-Man. I'm not gonna lie, when I see something that old brought back and they're trying to like make it a thing again, I always kind of roll my eyes initially, and then sometimes something will change my mind and I'll be like, oh, actually that does look kind of interesting. This has never looked interesting to me, sadly. I'm a huge He-Man fan.
But I mean, we're the same age. Like He-Man was very important to me growing up. And I I have a fondness for the original Masters of the Universe movie with Dolph Lundgren.
Me too.
I have a fondness for it. Frank Langella crushing it as
absolutely
a scary, villainous Skeletor. Like he's talking about somebody that was like, do you know what movie you're in? He is committed to the bit.
100%.
So good in that, like not at all what the cartoon or the toys were. It was like its own dark version of a thing, but I have affinity for it. Yeah, this one I know is more in line with Mattel and the actual toys and stuff like that. So I'm still going to check it out.
I'll probably watch it. I mean, I generally go and see anything that hits the theaters.
I reserve judgment always. Yeah, no, I'm intrigued to see it. But yeah, man, True Lies, rewatching this again, I thought it was so great. But Back to our tagline when he said "I do," he never said what he did. Which is like now, having gone through the movie again. Does this tagline work? Is it a chef's kiss of a tagline for like?
I think it is.
Summing it up, it's doing a lot of lifting on that, where it's like teasing you and also like setting up what is kind of actually about. Right. Once and that's the cool thing that I want to talk about in the course of this kind of show, this podcast, is kind of like these taglines that really do the work, or, on the surface, you go, what? And then after, like, do they hit harder after the fact? Right. Some of these taglines are like, oh, that just, because the point of them is just to get you to come go see the movie.
Right.
But then in hindsight, when you go back and see it, you're like, that's pretty great. And that's kind of what this show kind of stemmed from, is like, revisiting some of these old. So I play this game and I'm going to reference it every episode. Are you familiar with the other, there's a great movie podcast with David Sims, Griffin Newman, called Blank Check. You're familiar with the Blank Check podcast?
I am not, actually.
Phenomenal. I've listened to them for years. And they do deep dives on director filmographies. And so you can go back and see all the fun, and they'll go through an entire filmography of a single director and do deep dives on films, not too dissimilar to what we just did. But what they end up doing,
I'm gonna go check them out.
Yeah, what they end up doing at the end of every episode is playing the box office game, which means that they would go, this movie came out July of 1990, this weekend of July of 1994, opened number one at the box office, and then they try to have Griffin guess what was number two, what was number three, what was number four. Anyway, and so it's a long running bit that they try to guess what were the other films that came out around that same time.
Okay.
And a number of years ago, somebody created a daily, like, Wordle-esque version of the box office game. And so you can go to, at some point, I'm going to have to put up like a little chyron so people can go check it out. But if you go, Rob, to boxofficega.me, right? So it spells out box office game, but it's boxofficega.me. That is the box office game, and it's a Wordle-esque game, right? Where, and I'm going to do it. I haven't done it today, so I'm going to literally open it up today. So today's, as an example, today's is the weekend of May 15th, 2015. And so what happens is, I'll show you a little image of this here. So it gives you the date, and it gives you the top 5. And all it gives you out of the gate is how many weeks this movie, what number at this weekend, is it 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th? How many weeks it's been out, and how much money it's made to date. Okay. And the distributor, right? That's all you get. So, and then you can start to reveal hints to try to guess the movie. Now, what is the genesis of this particular podcast is one of the hints that you can reveal before guessing the movie is the tagline. And I have been reintroduced and or completely introduced to taglines that I've never heard of for certain movies, especially like later on, like 2015. I'm not looking at movie posters a lot. And so what were the taglines either on the posters in the theaters or at least in the advertisements and stuff like that. And sometimes there's more than one. But anyway, using the tagline as like the first hint of guessing these has been a real fun thing for myself and some friends. And kind of became the genesis of this particular podcast to focus on taglines and having these moments of going like trying to guess the movie solely from the tagline, right?
Yeah.
And then you go, ooh, and sometimes the instant effect would be, oh, that's like, oh, I know what that is. Or, ooh, that's a great tagline. What could this be? Or, oh, that's an awful tagline. That's the most generic bullshit I've ever heard, right?
Totally.
And so I've had all of these things have happened to me whilst playing this game for a number of years. And so, yeah, that's kind of the genesis of the tagline. So do you want to play it for today for funsies?
Let's play it.
Okay. So the date is May 15th, 2015. Number 1 at the box office is new this week from Universal and has made $69 million in its opening weekend.
Nice.
Do you have any guesses before I reveal the tagline? 2015 Universal. I don't know. I'm like, Universal. At that point, this is when you go, well, is it like one of the Jurassic Park movies? Is it a Fast and the Furious movie? Like all of this is where once we get in the teens, you guys, this is where we're getting all these obnoxious franchises we're talking about.
But 69 million is not.
No, it's not huge, but this is May 15th, right? So this is the beginning of like blockbuster season. But let's say since
I'm going to say Pitch Black.
The first Pitch Black?
Yep.
That's in my guess. That was 2000, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like 99 or 2000, and then Chronicles of Riddick is like 2004 or 2003, and then Riddick was like 20.
Final answer.
Riddick was like 2013. All right, I'm gonna reveal the tagline. Okay, I think I know what this is. This is actually kind of funny. This is a funny tagline. We're back, pitches, with a P.
Yeah. Is it a Major League movie? No.
I think it's Pitch Perfect 2.
Oh, my God.
It's Pitch Perfect 2. Pitch Perfect 2. We're back.
Whoa.
Pitches.
Well done. Well done.
That's funny. Like, and then you go, that's cute. That's funny.
That is kind of cute. That was number 1.
That was number 1 on that opened at number 1. Number 2 was new for $45 million from Warner Brothers. And the tagline is, "The future belongs to the mad." I have no idea. The future belongs to the mad from Warner Bros. And then you can reveal a genre, you can reveal director, and you can reveal the top 3 billed actors. Typically, what we end up doing is like always reveal the tagline. If I don't have any guess, we'll reveal the tagline. If I still don't know, I'll reveal the actor. And then by that point, if I really don't know, if I don't know by then, I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Go for the actor. I would guess
the future belongs to the mad. I should have known it, but I thought, you know what? I thought it was a bigger hit, but this is 2015, starring Tom Hardy. It's Mad Max.
Mad Max, yeah.
It's got to be Fury Road. First guess. I think Fury Road was like one of those grower, not a showers.
Yep.
Because it became huge.
Yeah.
But that's a fun little thing. Like it's got to be Fury Road. Fury Road, Rob, opened second to Pitch Perfect 2.
That's pretty bad.
You guys. Out of the two, what is a movie that people still talk about?
Fury Road,
Fury
for
Road.
sure.
That's wild to me that Fury Road is 2015, but Fury Road's tremendous. The future belongs to the mad. Not a great tagline for that movie.
No, but it did give away. I mean, because
it does. It's doing its job. But again, it's one of those like, meh.
Not great.
Do you have this one? I think True Lies is a great tagline. When he said "I do," he never said what he did. That's a great tag for this.
Pretty perfect for this movie.
I think it's great. I think it's great, even if you didn't know what the movie was about going into it, and then after the fact, you're like, yeah, this one rocks. The game,
100%.
like same thing with Mad Max. You're like, the future belongs to the mad. Yeah, okay. It's kind of on the nose, I guess, a little bit once you know what it is. There's something about like the art of, you and me as storytellers, the art of coming up with that. And that's why I wanted to focus on the taglines in this particular podcast.
Sure.
There's countless movie podcasts, but honestly, I looked around, there's no one that's really kind of dedicated solely to really kind of discussing taglines and or why they do or don't work. Also, we were talking about some movies have multiple promotional tags, sometimes on different posters. And in different ways that they promote them. But this is the only one documented anywhere for this movie. And no copywriter, agency, or executive has ever been publicly credited. 20th Century Fox campaign, but the author is unattributed to who wrote this.
That's sad.
I want to give.
Sad.
So what we like to do, I love to give a good old. I think this one deserves a good slow clap. When he said "I do," he never said what he did. That's a strong tagline for an equally strong and enjoyable movie.
Such a good movie.
So hard pressed to argue.
And I think it's very difficult, especially if you're trying to write a tagline, to distill the essence of a movie into one sentence or two.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, copywriting in general is hard, and I'm gonna throw it out to all the human copywriters out there. Now everybody
100%.
thinks they can be a copywriter because they have Claude or they have ChatGPT.
Yeah,
but not only because it's doing so much work. It's not only is it distilling what the movie is about without hopefully necessarily giving too much away, but also it needs to be really short and punchy to fit on a thing, and also be enticing and intriguing and right
Absolutely.
to grab your attention. This is an episode that we're covering. Sharknado also has a really great tagline.
What is it?
And we did a whole episode on Sharknado, by the way.
Sure.
With
I can't wait to hear
dear
it.
friend Kelsey Painter, who she chose it. It was awesome.
I love Kelsey. She's so cool.
It is Sharknado. Enough said. Right? You cannot argue.
Definitely gets yes.
Again, somebody
Amazing.
going like we talk about it in the episode too. Is like, just imagining like the writer's room. All right, what are we gonna say? What are we gonna put on this? And it's like the goddamn title is Sharknado.
What else
is there to say? It's enough said. I got nothing else. And that's so great. And again, teasing up like that movie knows exactly what it is, exactly what
100%.
it's doing. It's, again, thoroughly enjoyable in its absurdity. And,
absolutely.
But yeah, right. Great. Such a great, like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, and that's really the genesis of this is to take those moments to really shine a light on like, these are so good. And that's hard to do. It's hard. That's why there's a lot that you're like, meh. Then, like I said, playing the box office game, you reveal something that's like, well, that's the most generic thing in the world. That could be 500 movies that mean this that you just gave me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, love was hard, but he made it through. Something like that. Like some cheesy line that like could be anything. So yeah, anytime that like it's clever, I'm a sucker for clever. I'm a sucker for puns. I'm a sucker for play on words. And cheeky, but even just like, ooh, like, what's that going to be about? Like, I'll give you another one. The genesis of this podcast, and I might bring it up every time because it's the reason that this podcast is happening.
Yeah. Playing
the box office game. The weekend was something 1988. And I did not know this tagline existed for this movie. And I was, it's not on the list of the greatest taglines. Like when you look up multiple lists, where how I compiled a lot of the titles that I sent out to my guests to like choose from.
Yeah. Sure.
And then, but I also was like, send me some that I might not know about. It's, I'm going to give you the taglines, so you can guess it. When he pours, he rains.
Rain Man?
And it's rain, Reigns.
Oh my gosh.
When he pours, he reigns.
He
So already
reigns.
it's speaking my love language of doing a pun and then flipping it, right? And then a different word that sounds the same. It works when you read it, right? But when he pours, he reigns. Do you know what it is? It's
From
a 1988 movie.
1988.
You were very close with Rain Man. It stars one of the stars of Rain Man. That's not Dustin Hoffman. Starring a young, hot Tom Cruise in 1988.
Tom Cruise.
When
Jerry
he
Maguire?
pours, who pours things?
Bartenders.
It's a bartender movie. Do you know the sexy bartender movie that's starring Tom Cruise in 1988? It's another one of my
No.
faves. It's the movie Cocktail.
I have never heard of this movie.
You never heard of Cocktail? Oh,
I've
man.
never heard of Cocktail.
I wish I had the...
Oh my God.
Well,
I'm
now I
writing
have to
that down.
See if I can find the poster and just show it to you really quick.
I love Tom Cruise, so
It's the Tom Cruise, he's the sexiest and best bartender in the world movie. And he falls in love with Elizabeth Shue, which was another one of my crushes.
100%.
In the 80s.
Well, I mean...
Hold on, let me open up the IMDb. If I show you this poster, you'll probably be like, oh, I've seen this poster.
Nope.
You've never seen this poster?
Never seen this poster.
Oh, man. Well, here he is. Look, it's just him leaning on the bar, neon sign. When he pours, he reigns.
Damn.
That is such
I'll
a
give that
slow clap. Even though you're like, I don't know this movie, but it's a bartender movie.
It doesn't matter, man. I'm
is
bought in just because of that.
And so it's one of my all-time, it's in my top 5 now, and I only recently discovered it within the last couple months. But like discovering that was like, I was simultaneously livid that I didn't know that this movie's tagline was this. I knew I know this movie. I did not know this tagline for this movie. But also equally like delighted that I just learned it. And I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. When he pours, he rains. That's so good. And it's not getting the love that like it's not as good as In Space No One Can Hear You Scream. And I'm not saying it is. But God damn it, it's close. It's really close. Again, in one of those movies, it's a cheesy 80s, sexy bartender movie.
Absolutely.
When he pours,
I'm going to have
reigns.
to watch this.
Anyway, I wanted to share that with you. That's kind of like, again, another example of like, God, it's such a good tag for that.
I learned
Just
about
on
that,
a simple
and I'm gonna...
poster.
No, absolutely.
But Rob, thank you so much for joining me to talk about True Lies. I had so much fun rewatching it after a decade. I had so much fun going through it with you. Man. And I slow clap. We slow clap the writer, whoever you are. We know you're listening or watching. Well done on that tagline. It's so, especially on a poster that is just his face and a gun and a government logo in the background.
A government logo on the background,
like to give us a little bit of a hint into what is this actually about, other than just like an Arnold being badass movie. You know what I mean? Because he's 100%. Being more than that. He's doing a lot in this movie, and it's really fun. It's one of my. I'm hard pressed to dislike any James Cameron movie, honestly.
Yeah,
this one might be my favorite of his. Honestly,
it is. I think it is my favorite. It's
my favorite James Cameron movie.
I think it's my favorite Arnie movie. It's number 3 in my favorite movies.
Love that. I love that it's number 3 in your favorite movie. And I love that you brought it up. And when you dropped that and the tag, and I didn't know it offhand, I was like, that's it, we're doing that one. And you're the only one that picked it. So I was like, we're doing it, Rob. Sorry, it's not your top 2.
Gosh.
But you brought in True Lies, and I was like, I fucking love True Lies. We're doing True Lies.
100%. No.
Any excuse to watch True Lies.
Absolutely.
Rob, tell the people at home where plug away. Where can we got you robsogovio.com, all your voiceover needs.
Yes,
and where else can people like find you, follow you, and see what you're up to?
So Rob Sogovio is my handle on pretty much every social media. So if you're looking on Instagram or Facebook, look up Rob Sogovio, YouTube, LinkedIn. It's my full name, Rob Sogomonian. You can find me there. I am one of the co-founders of Articulate Studios. We do audio dramas, and we come up with original ideas for audio dramas. We're currently working on. We just finished releasing our first audio drama called Static Shift. It's kind of a spooky sci-fi kind of a thing.
Yeah, and
really cool.
They can find that. Where can they find that out? Anywhere the podcasts are and stuff?
Yep, anywhere with a podcast, you can just look up Static Shift. You'll find it. And we're working on about 5 or 6 other ideas right now that we're currently exploring. And at least 3 of them are really cool. we've got a couple that are going to be really badass. Don't know when they're coming out. Probably in the next. Yep, that one right there.
Articulate the number 8.
Articulate with the number 8. Kind of a play on being articulate, as well as there's 8 of us that founded this studio, so octopus for 8 arms of the studio.
Love.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Recommend that, and then you can just look me up. Also, I've got multiple YouTubes, so you can look up my personal YouTube, which is just you can look my name up and you'll probably find it, where I do aviation vlogging, and also my Cook Along Live show that I did during COVID is there.
A jack of all trades, like we said, all of the things. Wait, tell us about your private pilot license real quick. We were talking,
Yeah, so I've
you fly Harrier jets?
I wish, man. But Harrier jets are part of the reason that I wanted to become a pilot.
That's
when I was
cool.
13, 14 or whatever.
Like from watching this movie, you were like,
it was part of it.
Badass.
I actually wanted to join. I wanted to join the Air Force or the Navy out of high school, and I'm vertically challenged, you might say. I'm not very tall, not like super short or anything like that, but just I was too short to be a pilot, and so I decided not to go into either one of the services. According to the recruiter, I've had a couple people tell me that that's actually not true, and my recruiter was full of baloney. And so, but it was funny because I wanted to be a pilot. My best friend was 6'2". He wanted to be a pilot, and he was too tall. I was too short. Both of us by 1 inch.
Whoa! I didn't realize there was a height requirement.
According to our recruiter, that's what they had told us, and so he wanted to be a JAG. He wanted to go and be a lawyer. I just wanted to be a fighter pilot. But the way that they explained it is the HUD is set at a certain height, and at the time there was no adjustable seats because of G-forces and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And so
no strapping blocks to your feet.
No strapping, no sitting on phone books, none of that stuff.
Shenanigans, I say.
Again, I've been told since then that that's not actually the case, but that's what the recruiter was telling us at the time. But the initial reason, my dad was a termite inspector, which is why I went into contracting. He was a home inspector, general contractor, all of that. That's why I do have construction experience. That's what got me into real estate. But I used to drive around with him when I was younger, when he was out doing his inspections. And there's a little local airport right next to where I live here in Concord, California, Buchanan Field. And every time we drive through Concord, I would see the little airplanes taking off and landing. I loved that idea of freedom. I loved going to air shows. I still, every year that I can, go to Fleet Week here in San Francisco, watch the Blue Angels. Absolutely love everything to do with aviation. And so, yeah, that's what kind of inspired me. And then when I had the means, I went and got my private pilot certificate, and then wanted to bring the fun to other people, and that's what started the kind of aviation vlogging stuff that I've been doing. So
that's so rad. I love all of that. That's so cool, dude. You are awesome, super talented.
You are as well,
cool,
my friend.
super
Thank
fun.
You.
Thank you for chatting with me on this. I knew it would be a fun chat. I knew we would have a good time talking about a movie we both love. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, fascinating to hear more about that kind of stuff. That was so great. You're giving me, like, to bring it into the movies and talk about Tom Cruise. We were just talking about a cocktail. There's that story, Top 100%. Gun, like the Navy recruitment. They were putting recruiters like at the movie theaters with Top Gun. Like, dude bros were like, oh, I gotta be a pilot. You know what 100%. I mean? Like apparently, like by 150% or something like that, like the recruitment rate skyrocketed because of Top Gun.
And I didn't want to join because of Top Gun. It was because of the early stuff.
Because
Top Gun
True
didn't
Lies.
hurt it. True Lies was also another thing that definitely pushed me that direction.
And also he may or may not be a spy. We don't know.
I may or may not be a spy. You'll never know.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Yes. If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Indeed.
But yeah, it's always a great time getting together with you, Nate. I would love to take this to 7 hours, but I don't know that we can.
Well, I'll tell you what. You come back for another episode, and we'll just add your episodes together.
I like that idea.
And Let's see, and then we'll hit our quota.
I'm down for that.
We'll hit our time quota for sure. But yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed this, I can bring you back on. We'll do another title, man.
100%.
Let's do it. We'll make sure we do it, and that'll be so fun. But thank you all. ladies and germs, for joining me on the poster says, I keep wanting to say the podcast says, but it's the poster says podcast. But the podcast host says, thank you for joining us on the poster says. And I don't have, as of right now, like, hey, send us a thing. But if you're watching this on the YouTubes or something, like, send a comment. If there's a cool title that that you know and want to hear us talk about, send it our way. I'm all, especially if it's I'm looking forward to getting a tagline of a movie I haven't, like I just said, shared for you, Cocktail.
Yeah.
When he pours, he rains. You're like, I gotta watch this movie.
I'm definitely gonna watch that movie.
But yeah, I'm waiting to be able to like talk about a movie that I've never seen, like see one for the first time too. So send those my way. We're gonna take off on our Harrier jet. So this is Rob Sogomonian and Nate Beagle saying, you can find me at natebeagle.com, by the way. Again, also voiceover. If you can't get Rob for the VO, go to Rob first. And if you can't get him, I'll do it for you.
Or come to both of us. We'd love to tag team it.
Yeah, get us both in on your project. We'll bring
100%.
it to life. We like to have a good time.
We do.
But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time on The Poster Says. And here we go on our jet, taking off. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Hang on. Oh, yeah. Rob's piloting. I'm just hanging on like Tom Cruise on the wing.